The Knicks will be hosting games 3 and 4 Monday and Wednesday, already up 2-0 in the best of 7. WNBA, Dallas won at LA 104-96 despite 27 points from the Sparks' Kelsey Plum. Broncos linebacker Jonathan
Any
Cooper
sound
and his
you need in this
girlfriend were
segment
each
that you want me to
arrested
grab
for
for you?
domestic
Okay.
violence. At the
Right.
French
Anything,
Open,
just let me
number
know.
2 Alexander Zverev advanced to Sunday's final. The Dodgers still have yet to play an extra inning game this year. Freddie Freeman, home run, bottom of the ninth, 1-0 over the
It's okay.
Angels. I'm Steve DeSager.
We'll see a Super Bowl one day when Purdy isn't the quarterback of my team.
Let's begin, shall we?
F&A.
Let me tell you something.
Kevin Figures.
My entire take here is moved.
Adam Osley.
There's a conversation to be had.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. They're kicking the weekend off. It's F&A.
Point well taken.
Sound good?
That is so exciting.
Yeah! Live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's F&A. Kevin Figures and Adam Osley.
Yes, sir. Another edition of F&A on FSR. It is Kevin Figures and Adam Osley with you guys. Hit us up on X at F&A Show, at KFig1, and at Follow Adam A. Thank you guys for joining us as you do every single week. Got another big show lined up for you, Adam.
A little bit late myself here. Trying to get organized and oriented as we set everything up. We got the live stream going on the YouTube side. You can watch us there. F&A Show is where you can get to us. But coming up, because we do have a big show today, one of those rare big shows, because it's the NBA Finals. It's kind of important here. We'll have Mark Medina on.
Yes.
I don't know if he'll be live reporting from San Antonio, because I'd like to know about the scenery there, actually.
Big old women down there.
I don't know if they'll be coming back. I hope
Did
Chuck
those-
got his churros in already.
The joke was that the big old woman sucked all the air out of the arena. I think the Knicks sucked all the air out of the arena.
Them old big old women sucked all the air out of the
So
arena.
somebody took a video of Charles Barkley doing workouts outside of like a hotel or around the Riverwalk or something.
Doing workouts?
Yeah, he took like a chair and was lifting it over his head and was doing like a little light jog or whatever.
See, I thought it was all Ozempic. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that he's actually doing it naturally.
A little bit of a workout, you know. He said he can't sit here and talk about all the big old women and be out here and be a fat ass myself. So I got.
They wear big old bloomers down there. Ain't it?
What did he say? Victoria definitely a secret.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing skimpy down in San Antonio, Jack.
I only have like 10
How
of
many
these
of those
drops.
drops do you have in there?
Victoria, definitely a secret.
As many as it takes. This is the time. San Antonio is flourishing right now, at least in the big old women department, but they are down 0-2.
Yeah, we'll talk to our guy, Mark Medina, Fox Sports Radio NBA Insider, coming up in the very next segment about these NBA Finals. Coming up in the second hour of the show, Vinny Bonsignor, sports columnist, I should say NFL columnist for the California Post, covered the Los Angeles Rams for years, knows the Les Snead, Sean McVay contingent very, very well. They obviously pull off one of the biggest trades in recent memory with the acquisition of Myles Garrett, the potential of Aaron Donald possibly coming out of retirement to join them as well. And Vinny was just in San Francisco, as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago to kind of get their reaction to the trade. Not happy,
Okay.
for lack of a better term.
Well,
Understandably so.
nobody's happy in the NFC West, even the defending champs and the Seahawks, when you see Myles Garrett enter your division like this. So I'm not surprised by that. Also in the second hour, because we are F and NBA full.
F and NBA.
A blast from the past.
It's back.
F and NBA.
We will have our NBA three stories that we get to 3 minutes each, just about 3 segments, about a 9-minute segment. Second segment of the second hour is where we will slot that. End of that hour, though, Kevin.
At the end of the hour, we'll talk more about the Los Angeles Rams and are they the best run organization in sports? And that's going to transition into our final hour of the show. We kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on this because the Rams, for all intents and purposes, whether or Aaron Donald is there or not, kind of a super team if you think about it. Look at where they were last year, knocking on the door of potentially winning the Super Bowl. They were the favorites going into this offseason to win the Super Bowl. And now they have Myles Garrett. They have the best defensive player in the sport, potentially over the past 20 years, arguably. And now they might even add Aaron Donald to the mix. But whether the Donald is there or not, are they a super team? And if they are, does that necessarily guarantee them a victory?
Guarantees in sports?
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
We'll see. We'll get into that. We'll take your phone calls, 877-99 on Fox. Let's get things started, though.
Let's go. It's go time.
Let's rock.
First of
I don't know about you, Adam, but I breathed a sigh of relief last Saturday night when the San Antonio Spurs beat Oklahoma City, even though I said on this very show on Friday night that I thought the Thunder would win in a blowout. because I knew that if San Antonio made it to the NBA Finals against the Knicks, we would actually have a series on our hands.
I'm a dumbass.
And I also knew if Oklahoma City passed and won Game 7 at home, they would run the Knicks off the floor. At least that was my belief.
Yeah. Look, we both were wrong in many ways because we said that was the NBA championship, the de facto NBA championship happening in the Western Conference. Now, we also pointed out that because of the bloodbath and the gauntlet you had to go through to get to the NBA Finals from the Western Conference side, that it could be problematic, that you were facing a team that had a week and a half off, that was well rested after sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers. And while they weren't maybe as battle tested as San Antonio, the whole rest versus rust debate, we can put that to rest in a way right now.
Yeah, I mean, and look, not that the Knicks are the most experienced team in the world, but certainly compared to San Antonio, the only person with any level of experience in the postseason for San Antonio is Harrison Barnes, and he barely plays. And even when he did play for Golden State, you can say he was the weakest link on those rosters that they had.
De'Aaron Fox got one series in his playoff career, and he lost in 7 as Steph Curry dropped 50 on the Sacramento Kings back in 2023.
And we can get to, he played better on Friday night, much better than he played in Game 1, but even he had some questionable decisions down the stretch, as many of the Spurs did. And I think their lack of experience really showed up in the clutch moments in both of these games, to be honest with you.
Well, the story here, Victor Wembanyama down the stretch had 3 very costly plays, 2 missed jumpers. Obviously, the game winner on the right elbow over Mitchell Robinson didn't fall, or else he's the hero there.
And also, that makes Jalen Brunson the GOAT, and not the good kind of GOAT.
The GOAT
going 1 of 2 from the free throw line. That missed free throw loomed large.
Jalen Brunson has had 1 good quarter in the finals, and they're up 2-0.
Terrible omen for the San Antonio Spurs.
That's something that, I thought that they would slow him down. I thought this was a good matchup defensively with San Antonio's guard play against Jalen Brunson, and it has been outside the 13-point quarter and the tough shot over Devin Vassell at the end of Game 1. That's the only good stretch he's really had, and they still lead 2-0. A lot of that goes to Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Great teamwork with your wings, with Mikal Bridges, who had a great end of that third quarter. He and McBride kept them afloat tonight. That was huge for them to extend the lead to 9. But also Karl Anthony Towns, he's your MVP right now in the finals. And that is something not a lot of people would have seen coming, because he has been under scrutiny for years, not just from the media, from his own teammates. Ask Jimmy Butler with Minnesota back then.
I mean, there was remember the whole Game of Zones thing that TNT was doing online, and they had the whole thing where, Jimmy Butler came in, his first or second practice in Minnesota, and cursed everybody out and said everybody was soft and threw the ball off a cat's head and all that stuff. I might have made that part up, but still, that was generally
that ball went in too after he bounced it off his head.
That cat was soft and never realized his potential. And look, he's had his playoff struggles too, whether in Minnesota last year for the Knicks against Indiana, had some struggles, especially in that closeout game. He is balling his ass off, and there's a degree of, he might not be a spectacular Hall of Fame type player, but from a matchup standpoint, for where Wemby is currently in his career, this is kind of the worst possible matchup for him, because Cat can draw him out of the paint because he can make outside shots, which opens up everything else on the inside. And then if they try to switch him off and put Karl Anthony Towns against someone smaller, he's just going to play bully ball, and he can actually take you off the dribble a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's kind of the perfect type of center to play against a Victor Wembanyama squad at this point in time, at least at this point in Wemby's career.
Well, Cat's always had all the talent in the world. I remember after his first couple of years in the league, we were talking about him being a future MVP. Yeah. That's how good he is. Now you're seeing him play better defense during this run, sacrifice, but also being more involved as a hub with the offense since Mike Brown came in. Right. Their ball movement, to me, has changed things in this series, because Wemby's flying around trying to locate the basketball, and they're just playing hot potato with it. Yep. And it's wearing Wemby out a little bit defensively. And then you mentioned how much, if you want to guard Cat out on the perimeter, great. Then they're going to go attack the basket because Wemby's not there. And if he does want to guard Mikal Bridges, who's in the far side corner, and sag off of him, well, then Cat's going the other way against the small and abusing them on the block, because he's playing with that type of force right now.
Now, one thing I'll say, they had the 14-point lead late in the fourth quarter, and the Spurs made this giant surge. And no disrespect to San Antonio, who really sacked up and had a great run and made some big shots.
Sack up.
These nuts.
I kind of think the Knicks kind of gave it away. They went away from what was working for them. They went to hero ball. They started doing a bunch of ISOs for Brunson. They started doing ISOs for Mikal Bridges Granted, Champagne's one of the worst defenders on the roster, but still, I don't want Mikal Bridges going one-on-one against anybody unless I really have to.
Yeah.
There are maybe 4 or 5 straight possessions where it was Bridges at the top of the key above the 3-point line with 8 seconds left trying to make something happen. The Knicks kind of did it to themselves.
They started to run out of gas a little bit, I think, and then the crowd got underneath San Antonio, and that 14-0 run where they went 5 of 5 from the field, the Spurs, and 2 of 2 from the outside to get them the lead, where you look at the last 2 minutes of the first 2 games of the NBA Finals, the Spurs actually were leading in the final 2 minutes, and they let the game get away from them. And this one, as good as Wemby was in the second half with 22 points, and he finally responded, and he had that great turnaround spin move on Cat on the block in the midst of that stretch where it was Dylan Harper going at Jalen Brunson. Fox hit a 3-pointer too. They did perform at a very high level, but then it's not just the missed jumpers by Wemby. And I don't like that first shot at all, where you're trying to go 2 for 1, which I'm fine with to play the analytics there with about 39 seconds left. But he's taking a far side short corner jumper over Mitchell Robinson, and he's not even trying to take him off the dribble at all. And he can.
Right.
And that to me was settling for a jumper. And then, unfortunately, on the other end, you get him playing great defense on Jalen Brunson. They get the rebound. He's bringing it up. And you know who he looked just like? In the first round against the Los Angeles Lakers, the Rockets had a collapse in game 3. And Jabari Smith Jr. threw the ball off the back of one of his players who wasn't looking. When they were up by 6 with like 10 seconds left or whatever it was an all-timer.
Yep.
Wemby had the same mistake where he saw Castle streaking down the left side. Castle didn't see him, and he threw it off of him. It goes to Jalen Brunson. Now he fouls him to compound things there in a tie game.
Which I feel like his momentum kind of I don't fault him too much for the foul. That is that, but the turnover can happen at that point in time. And I don't know if that's a lack of experience or if the game was too fast for him at that point. By the way, I feel like they had a timeout in their pocket as well.
They did.
I don't know if I agree with Mitch Johnson not stepping in and calling a timeout instead of trying to do something ahead of the break. The Spurs don't have, and this is one thing that the Knicks do have in their favor, and as great as Wemby is, I do not characterize him at this point in his career as like a bucket getter, and
he doesn't have a lot of sweet spots.
Right.
He's such an alien. We don't know where his go-to spots are on the floor yet.
And he'll get there. Look, Kevin Durant didn't have that the first 2 years of his career either. It's a progression. I mean, he's ahead of schedule at 22 years old and a couple of years into his career. But Luka Doncic or SGA, Jalen Brunson, by the way, these guys are bucket getters. The time's running down. It's an open break or you're coming out of a timeout. ISO this guy. He's going to be able to get a shot for you.
He's going to get to that step back fall away. He hit another one on the right elbow. That was a crazy shot with high arc on it. And remember, he played with Dirk Nowitzki for a second before Dirk retired with the Mavs, and he's got that 1-footer step back while he's doing it at 6'1" and not 7'1" like Dirk. Very familiar there.
With his lack of efficiency that he's had these first couple of games, he's made some really clutch shots for them, which, for the people that don't necessarily play the closest of attention, I do wonder, and I guess we can look up the odds for this too. I wonder if he's the favorite right now to win the MVP, even though Karl Anthony Towns might not be putting up gargantuan stats. But if you're actually watching the way that the games are playing out at this point in time on the way he's affecting both ends of the floor, he definitely should be the MVP.
I agree with you. The odds don't right now.
Never tell me the odds.
They still have Brunson as the favorite.
I'm not surprised by that.
I don't think the voters would be influenced by that, though. I'd actually say that's a good bet right now because it's not only that Karl Anthony Towns is having 17 points in the first half and completely outplaying Wemby on the offensive end. It's the way he's been able to play defensively, which has always been a knock on him for a long time, that he was capable of more, and now you're seeing it. But the story with him, I get a little bit emotional hearing him talk about his mom.
Yeah.
And he's, been very honest and transparent about his religion and his beliefs and just where he's coming from and trying to complete this. And he feels like his mom's looking down on him. Like this is a really special run from Karl Anthony Towns, who has faced a lot of criticism over his career.
Yeah, most definitely. And you root for guys like that who've been through as much as he has been through throughout his career and throughout his life. So much props to him. One thing I will say too, one of the litmus tests for the Knicks throughout this postseason run has been Josh Hart. And typically when he's played well, they've won. And when he's not, they haven't. He did not play well tonight at all. he basically was a no-show, was in foul trouble the entire night, and they also got struggles offensively from Jalen Brunson, and they still found a way to be able to win. I don't feel the Knicks have played better than a B- game in these first 2 games, and they find themselves up 2-0.
It's interesting because I've seen Knicks fans bring up this quote from Wemby going into the finals, talking about how he didn't feel like he needed to do anything that special, just be himself, be normal, just play to their normal level, and that would be enough. And Knicks fans took that as a slight, like, oh, you think you already beat the toughest team in front of you. You think it's the Eastern Conference still, and you are overlooking us or underestimating us. And now maybe I'm, starting to buy in that there's something to this OKC team San Antonio team having an emotional and adrenaline type of dump like you'd have as an MMA fighter that gets too hyped up before a fight, because maybe their championship was beating OKC in the Western Conference with how emotional Wemby was afterwards. And then they only had 3 days to get ready for game 1.
Right.
Well, the New York Knicks were balanced, measured, the veteran group, and they probably heard the same stuff that we had been saying. The Western Conference Finals is the real NBA Finals. They probably bought in a little bit.
The Knicks are a paper tiger. They ran through a weak Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
They had no business being here at this point.
I threw out the stat about the three-point shooting.
Right.
Where opponents were not hitting against them. They still aren't right now on open three-pointers.
Now then I don't know what the stats are on open threes. I just know naked eye, the Spurs ain't getting that many open looks.
True.
I think the New York Knicks are doing a phenomenal job of guarding the three-point line and not allowing them to get a lot of open looks.
Their defense has slowed down San Antonio's offense to a halt, to where at times it looks like some rec league ball out there where it's just end of shot clock, ISO, try to get a bucket here instead of running their stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more impressed with this Knicks team. They've won 13 games straight. They're on this historic run right now. And while I took San Antonio in 7, so I wasn't saying they were going to smoke the Knicks or anything like that. I overlooked the Knicks to some extent and just how good they have been and the intangibles and the little things. And, San Antonio, they were doubted early on in the playoffs because of how young they are, and they're not ready for this moment.
I mean, most people felt like that was going to be their stumbling block, that it was not going to be for lack of talent. It was going to be for lack of experience.
But to me, after you beat OKC on the road in game 7, is that really an argument? Well, apparently it is now in the NBA Finals, because Wemby afterwards was talking about how things were a little bit blurry out there for him.
And I thought about this, we talked about this last week. We talked to Mark Medina about it last week. We'll talk to him coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. I wondered if game 7 in Oklahoma City would be too big for the San Antonio Spurs. Clearly it was not. But you get to the NBA Finals, it's one step forward into a bigger stage against the team that's on fire, that has all the momentum this entire postseason run. And so I thought that getting into a bigger stage, I think you kind of saw that in game 1 and especially in game 2 with just uncharacteristic turnovers. Steph Castle has been a turnover machine this entire postseason, so I guess it's not that uncharacteristic for him. De'Aaron Fox played terrible in game 1, played better in game 2, but even he had some meltdowns down the stretch in game 2.
Well, and you mentioned Mitch Johnson, and they had a timeout there, and they could have called it. And I get the logic of we have the ball, it's a tie game, 11 seconds left, we're at home, we don't want to call a timeout, let them sub guys out, get Brunson off the floor, set their defense. But you got a young team too.
Yeah, right.
And it proved that way with how Wemby was a little bit sped up there and over anxious at the end. And between that and not playing Dylan Harper more than 3 minutes in the fourth quarter of game 1, when he was the leading scorer after 3 quarters for San Antonio.
That was the most egregious decision so far through 2 games in this series.
I think Mitch Johnson, he's got some growing up to do as well. He ain't Greg Popovich yet.
Well, look, second-year head coach? I mean, he's young and inexperienced too. All these guys are growing together.
This is a team that we thought maybe they were so talented it wouldn't matter, but the Knicks, underestimate them at your own peril, because they do look like a machine and a buzzsaw right now. I don't know if it's going back to San Antonio at this point, Kevin.
I don't big old women down there.
Because even just from a strategic standpoint, the way that San Antonio plays, Wemby is such an eraser and floor raiser when it comes to his size and blocking shots and rebounding. But going back to the cat factor, if you're able to take him away from the rim, You got guys like Josh Hart and Bridges and all these guys flying in for second chances, even third chances. They're dominating the glass because they're able to get Wemby out of the paint. And I think that's something to a certain degree that's been underestimated. The Knicks just have a giant size advantage overall over a Spurs team that generally likes to play with 3 guards and Wemby out there.
Wemby might have said something prophetic after game 1.
Big time.
Said, quote, they understand how fortunate they are to be in the finals, and they know it's not guaranteed. They'll ever get a chance like this again. As for us, we're kind of like spoiled kids. For some of us, it's our first season or one of our first seasons, and we're already in the finals. We don't fully realize it yet. And to me, the team that appreciates the position we're in most will be the ones that win. And right now, that looks like the Knicks.
It's an interesting quote. And by the way, as talented as they are, and we think they're going to be on this giant run for the next 5-7 years, you just never know.
No.
You never know if you're going to be able to get back there.
With Wemby's body, I'm always concerned when he falls to the floor. I got to be honest about that. Just guys with freakish athletic size like that, it doesn't always last very long. You have to cash in when you have these moments. We'll see if they can make it interesting in game 3. We can talk with Mark Medina about that coming up next. This is F&A on Fox Sports Radio.
We got this. NBA fans, the storylines are here.
Can the Spurs jump that learning curve?
Can New York handle it? I don't mean the New York Knicks.
Victor Wembanyama, it's remarkable to watch.
Jalen Brunson has a really good team around him.
This is going to be a great final.
It's the NBA Finals on Fox Sports Radio.
It's here. King of the Hill and WD-40 brand present the limited edition King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can. Available now exclusively at the Home Depot, in-store and online. How many are you grabbing? One for you, one for your dad, and one for every Hank in your life. Get your King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can today before they're gone. Watch the new season of the Hulu original King of the Hill on July 20th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Available nationwide for a limited time or while supplies last. Availability varies by location and
Drew
online.
McIntyre here from WWE. Wielding the Claymore can be a life of chaos. When I'm not dominating in the ring, Chumba Casino is how this warrior takes a wee break. With hundreds of online social games and new weekly releases, there's always something fresh to try. And those daily boosts, next level. Even my free time feels like Valhalla. So when life feels like a battle, kick up your feet, have some fun, and let's chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima
Andre
Tax
from
Relief,
Lancaster
America's
wants to
most
talk
trusted
about the
tax
Knicks.
resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients.
Yeah, I do.
One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Ben Maller.
It's the gas bag on the radio who is tossing verbal raspberries at you.
Your late night getaway. The big dog.
Big.
Got it?
I disagree.
Good.
So I have abstract art, Fisher Price, and the mighty Zoltar.
What the hell did he just say?
It's the Ben Maller Show.
What kind of acid was someone on when they cooked this up?
Listen on the overnights, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right on Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove all the doubters.
When Dan Patrick speaks,
Yeah.
you better stop and listen.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
You won't get politeness when we get you out of the specter of 18,000 fans. Now, you just don't let him back in. He doesn't get to go back to a game. That's it. Yes, Paul.
Okay, let's be the jury for this young man who ran on the court. I looked it up, but here are some of the recent punishments for people who've run on the court in the NBA. The home team can ban him for life or for the rest of the season. There could be criminal charges for trespass or disorderly conduct, or a league-wide ban. The entire NBA can bar the individual. What would you guys do?
Just not let him come back in the arena. That's it. I mean, do I give him a lifetime ban? I'd have to know more about him. It's not a big deal to me. Like, he came on the floor. Okay, something stupid happens. Nobody got hurt. Take him off the floor. You don't let him back for a year. Great. Move on. Yes, Marvin.
I'm going with the lifetime ban. I grew up with the motto, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I saw it. It's unfortunate. It happens. Get him off the floor. Move on. Yes, Dylan.
What do you think would be the most fun one to do? Like, which one to run on? I feel like baseball, right? You get to run, maybe get to second base, round one of the bases, and before you get tackled. I don't know, running on, taking a selfie. If you had to do one.
No, I wouldn't do any of them. Never even thought about it. Like, man, I could run right there. I could jump over and run onto the field and then do what?
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. I did. It's Dan Patrick. Yeah, him. You trust Dan. You need Dan.
Nobody needs to know that.
Because without Dan, mornings just wouldn't be the same.
This is guaranteed to go wrong. Horribly wrong. Absolutely.
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Need I say more?
Shut up. Yeah. That, to me, was a little cringeworthy there.
Listen weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. Right here.
I want publicity.
On Fox Sports Radio. Do you know what sets us apart from the rest? It's our ability to talk the talk.
Back to what I'm saying.
And being able to walk the walk.
If you want knowledge, listen to Fox Sports Radio.
We have the shows.
You can't be weak. You can't be soft and weak.
We have the talent.
Ta-da! Over the top, in your face.
We're just plain better than the rest.
It's about the consistency.
We're Fox Sports Radio. And we have the premier sports lineup in the business. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details.
This is the game that people are going to talk about for years to come.
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
It is F&A on FSR, broadcasting live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. Be sure to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel. Just search Fox Sports Radio on YouTube, and you will see our best videos from all of our shows. Hit the thumbs up icon and comment away. Let us know whose takes you agree with and those you don't. Just search Fox Sports Radio on YouTube and subscribe.
Coming up, we'll get to your phone calls, but first, we got someone more important to talk to.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donnie.
Oh, he didn't go to San Antonio because he didn't want to have to wade through the crowds of big old women over there to try to get a churro or anything like that. As Charles Barkley would say, that's not me saying that or anything. Come on now.
I'm a dumbass.
It's our friend, Mark Medina, joining us here after Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Mark, welcome back into F&A on Fox Sports Radio.
Adam, Kevin, thanks for having me. I did not think I would be joining the show talking about Victor Wembanyama's shortcomings, but here we are.
You know, Victor Wembanyama had 22 points in the second half, but those 3 plays later, what's everyone's going to remember here, and especially that turnover, he talked about it post-game, Mark. How did you interpret just that mindset of things got blurry for him? What are you reading into with that?
Yeah, what I read into is that even though we've seen Victor Wembanyama already become a special player, this is typically what happens to young players in their first extended playoff run. You know, we've seen it with Shaq, we've seen it with Kobe Bryant, we've seen it even with Michael Jordan, and in Victor Wembanyama's case, it wasn't just the turnover; it was just missed shots, that fallaway three, that air ball, the last play of the game where he fell down and won that contested mid-range. But that turnover was really weird because you thought, hey, he's having this big play. This defensive stop against Jalen Brunson, gets the rebound, and he didn't even really pay attention to what Stephon Castle was doing, and he didn't see him throw the ball at all. So just very unbecoming considering how usually fundamentally sound Victor Wembanyama is.
On the whole, Mark, Adam and I talked about this in the last segment. Just is there an idea that there possibly could have just been a letdown from San Antonio, knowing how draining that last series against Oklahoma City was? We all know the narrative. Most of us said that was the NBA Finals. Whoever came out of the West was probably going to end up winning the championship. Granted, New York played the Spurs pretty damn tough the entire regular season, and of course in the NBA Cup matchup as well. Did they sleep on the Knicks? Do you think that they were worn down after the Western Conference Finals, or is it a combination of factors that they find themselves down 0-2 right now to the Knicks?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors, but unpacking it, I certainly find validity to the whole rest versus rust debate. In this case, in Game 1, it looked like the Spurs were emotionally spent from that grueling 7-game series against the Thunder, and I'm sure there was a psychological component that, hey, if they can beat the Thunder, the defending champs, they can beat anyone. But that only applies to Game 1. The Spurs were playing in Game 2 as if it was an elimination game. And I know that Game 2 is not a Game 7, but they played it as if they lose, their series is over, because only 5 teams in NBA Finals history has ever overcome an 0-2 series deficit. No team in NBA history has ever done that after losing those first 2 games at home. So they had the proper energy and mindset and attitude. But I think what was humbling is even with all that, it still wasn't good enough. And with Victor Wembanyama, there were times he was playing aggressively, and that's good. But there are also times that he's settling for too many threes. There's times that Karl-Anthony Towns is getting putbacks easily over him. There's times, as we talked about in crunch time, that he's just making very, head-scratching decisions that would be understandable for normal, quote-unquote, young players, but not understandable for someone of Victor Wembanyama's caliber.
You mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns there. First play of the third quarter, he gets that rebound and put back on him. And I know he probably fouled him, but they were letting a lot go. There were some wild plays in that ball game, including that one with De'Aaron Fox, where it's like, okay, it's at least a double dribble now. You better call the foul or something. He ends up with an and one.
Well, it's an interesting point, Adam, because, he may have got away with the foul there, but I would also argue that Karl-Anthony Towns got called for 2 fouls. The third and fourth really weren't fouls. I mean, Wemby's kind of locking him up a little bit, and same thing with Stephon Castle. And that was the MO on Karl-Anthony Towns last year in the postseason, that he can't defend without fouling. Well, here, he's gotten calls for fouls, but it doesn't really matter. He's still been aggressive defensively. He's still taken on that assignment to at least try to make things difficult. And he's also been really incredible offensively. So all-around good game with Cat. And I know that, for obvious and understandable reasons, a lot of attention should be on Jalen Brunson for how much of a gamer he has been. But Karl-Anthony Towns has been a pretty close distance second for how clutch he has been so far in this series.
Mark Medina, Fox Sports Radio NBA Insider, joining us here on FNA on FSR. It's like the early returns. Adam and I talked about this too. We think that Jalen Brunson, just based on public narrative, when we looked at some betting lines, as of now was the favorite to win the MVP of the series. But we feel like anybody that's actually watching this closely, knowing the kind of impact that Karl-Anthony Towns has had on both ends of the floor so far through 2 games, I feel like he would have to be the slam dunk favorite to be the MVP of the series, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, look, I wrote a column after Game 1 saying that even though Jalen Brunson had 30 points, 13 in the fourth quarter, tapped into that whole narrative of how he's such a great player and a great clutch player and playing through pain, I thought that Karl-Anthony Towns' Game 1 was more effective because of what he did with Victor Wembanyama. knowing how voters are, I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk case as of now. I mean, barring what we don't know how things will play out in games 3, 4, and possibly beyond. I could see it being split where voters are looking at it through the same lens that you and I are, and some that are looking at Jalen Brunson's heroics and also some of the knock on him that Becky Hammond and others raised about, hey, for someone his size, he's not a player that can lead a team to a championship. But yeah, I think that's that's a very nice first world debate for the Knicks to be having. Who should be the MVP after 2 games of the NBA Finals when going into this, a lot of people were favoring the Spurs to win it.
From the individual award, I guess, to the just collective greatness of this Knicks team, Mark, what makes them so special? We're talking 13 straight wins now, and a lot of people felt like, well, they loaded up in the Eastern Conference. They'll get punched in the face against the West. What have you seen from this team, and how does it compare to some of the great runs you've seen throughout the years in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, there's no way around it. Part of where they are now and how well they're playing has to do with the easier path, because they were able to beat teams by wide double-digit margins, teams that were undermanned with injuries or just lack of talent. But, in fairness to the Knicks, they didn't let up. They didn't skate by and barely win these games. They dominated because of how of an elite defensive team they've been since January. And offensively, they have really turned a corner, I think, since the All-Star break, playing at a faster pace. There's just much more consistency from their star players and role players. They're not bogged down on just running the offense through half-court sets. They're getting out in transition. That's partly because of their defense. And so, how this compares to other NBA teams, I mean, look, they've won, 13 games in a row now? It's for real. But it's still hard for me to equate, the Knicks like the Golden State Warriors, during their championship run, or the Bulls, or anything, or even the Lakers. It's hard for me to see any similarities there. But I will say, in fairness to this season alone, they have been doing things special, and they're not here by accident. They're not barely skating by or pulling any weird tactics just to win. Like, they are dominating, and they're also showing that against the Spurs team, their playoff run in the Eastern Conference wasn't just a mirage.
Tactically speaking, even if you feel there's anything necessary, or maybe the Spurs just need to play better. I mean, look, we're having a different conversation tonight if Wemby ends up making that shot at the buzzer. So I don't know if there is a tactical advantage that the Knicks have over the San Antonio Spurs, or is it simply that the Spurs just need to play better? Is there any sort of adjustment that you think the Spurs tactically need to make, or do they just need to play better and not turn the ball over at crucial moments and maybe grow up in the middle of this series?
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. I mean, that's what NBA playoffs are about. You don't have to play a perfect game. You just have to find a way to win a game. But how you do that is you have to be able to make big plays. You also have to limit mistakes, and you have to win on the margins. And so, it goes without saying, it starts with Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he is their generational talent and number one guy, but it also has to do with the others. I mean, De'Aaron Fox had a good bounce back game in game 2 compared to game 1, but Stephon Castle did not shoot the ball well. He's got to be better. Dylan Harper, he was a bright spot when he was driving to the rim. He was showing a lot of aggressiveness, not the same thing with what he was shooting from three-point range. Keldon Johnson, another guy that couldn't hit a three. So it's a collective effort there. And then, when you're looking at some of the intangibles, the Knicks clearly have had the advantage with that, with winning the rebounding battle, having more ball movement that lead to assists. All those things matter in the playoffs because every little possession can make or break any single game, especially obviously one that comes down to the wire.
Mark, the Knicks have been in a 53-year drought since winning a championship. From what you know about Knicks fans, what's that Game 3 environment going to look like, and what percentage chance would you give San Antonio of winning Game 3? Because if they don't win Game 3, it's definitely over. Nobody's come back in the NBA down 0-3.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's hard for me to say the Knicks would sweep this series because of just the caliber of the Spurs, but it's hard for me to envision that the Spurs at least win game 3, because as much as you think they're going to make adjustments, the urgency, this game 3 is just very unique. Not only is it always challenging to win a road game, but this Knicks environment is going to be one of the most electric atmospheres ever because of what you just said. They haven't been to the finals since 1999. This is a franchise that has had a very passionate fan base. It's a large market. There's obviously going to be a lot of attention because of the discourse with President Trump being there. So there's a lot of elements with that. Celebrity Row, Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, you go down the line. I can't see the Spurs overcoming all that, but I also can't see them, just folding over and losing game 4. I think that they'll at least get a game, but with how things are going, it seems like the Knicks are wrapping this up in 5.
I really hope they find it with a sweep and they have a championship parade, and then all of a sudden the Stone Cold Steve Austin music comes out, and then all of a sudden here comes Charles Oakley with the steel chair, and he hits James Dolan over the head, and he raises the trophy. That's what I'm rooting for here. So hopefully I'll get my wish. We'll see what happens.
I could see Stone Cold Steve Austin being there much more likely than Charles Oakley actually entering the arena and doing what he would love to do to the Knicks owner.
Don't dash my dreams there. Mark Medina, Fox Sports Radio, NBA Insider, staying up late, joining us as he does each and every week. Mark, great stuff as always, brother. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate you. Got to leave you with another Eminem reference, right? Will the real Victor Wembanyama please stand up?
Oh, I mean, he stood up, but then he fell down on that jumper on the right elbow. Yeah. We'll see if we get the real Victor Wembanyama, if he can put it together for 48 minutes in game 3. Thanks again, Mark.
I appreciate you guys.
All right. What do we have coming up next? We got some geek news, Adam?
Actually, there's an adjustment going on.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit of rap news.
Okay.
Is in order. Coming up next.
So we got another beef on our hands, is what it sounds like.
Maybe we'll take a phone call
from
a Knicks fan who wants to gloat, who I already blocked on Twitter,
Okay, start celebrating. You're up 2-0. Why not?
Oh, Kevin.
What's the worst that can happen?
I feel bad for the NYPD out there and how many they've had to have already. They got to, put the slickness on the light
all the
poles
poles
and all that, the Cisco on there.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm hopefully Jason Smith is not listening, but I'm just saying, you Knicks fans, if there was any franchise that would go up 2-0 in a series and winning both games on the road to start it and then lose 4 straight, you all know it's the New York Knicks. All right.
Yeah.
They would be the one franchise they would do that to. As you have the soundbite from Star Wars, don't get cocky, kid.
I do have that somewhere here. What the heck is it under? It's under smart. Easy, kid.
Great kid. Don't get cocky.
Yeah.
Just letting you guys know. All right. I'm actually rooting for you. I think it's great. I think it's a great story, historic franchise, but just let's calm it down a little bit. You still got 2 more wins to get.
All right. Well, game 3 is going to be a madhouse.
Yes,
Coming up next, we got rap news here on FNA on Fox Sports Radio.
Maller Militia. You already know this.
Spoiler alert!
But we need to remind you. Ben has a YouTube channel for the show.
Oh, the drama.
Just search The Ben Maller Show.
Some of it caught my attention.
I know what's hit.
Hit the subscribe button, push that thumbs up icon, and comment away. Let Ben know how smart he really is.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Here. King of the Hill and WD-40 brand present the limited edition King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can. Available now exclusively at the Home Depot, in-store and online. How many are you grabbing? One for you, one for your dad, and one for every Hank in your life. Get your King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can today before they're gone. Watch the new season of the Hulu original King of the Hill on July 20th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Available nationwide for a limited time or while supplies last. Availability varies by location and online.
Check it out. The Herd. When Colin Cowherd drops the info, The Herd, you need to listen. Right here.
Ted Cruz was involved, so I try not to spend too much time on it. The college football stuff. And Nick Saban went out and said, it's a runaway train. how much money do you have to spend to compete for a national championship in football? The number's about 35 to 40 million. There's the number. It's about 10 in basketball. What's interesting is, college football, most of our lives, Notre Dame has been very, very influential. They're the best program that's not entirely a member of a conference. They're a partial member in the ACC, which they'd be better served maybe being a full-time member of the ACC because, I'm listening to their athletic director talk. Notre Dame does not have a money problem. According to a general manager, college teams now have general managers. In college football, Notre Dame is a big-time spender. LSU, Texas, Texas Tech, Ohio State, Miami, Notre Dame is right up there with them. They also do not have a coaching problem. Marcus Freeman, to me, is as good as any coach in the country. So Notre Dame's got the money right. Notre Dame has got the coach right. Notre Dame's problem is they can't find any dance partners, and Pete Bavacqua knows it. So that's why when USC pulled out, or whoever did, pulled out of the game, they panicked and signed BYU. BYU's fine, but BYU is not a top 15 player. Look, since the Big Ten and the SEC have added.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
There's a fan that ran onto the court taking a selfie with Victor Wembanyama. I'm surprised we don't have more of that in the NBA because of the proximity of the seats, where a football stadium, baseball stadium, you have to jump over, jump down, run to. Basketball, you're kind of right there. No, nobody in the front row is going to do it because they don't want to give up those expensive seats. First 5 rows, you're not going to be doing that. But somebody ran on the floor taking a selfie with Victor Wembanyama, usher him off. Holy's like, there should be a moment where these security guys get to rough him up. And I go, no.
I would not be polite with him as he's escorted off the floor. They should make sure that he was really close to Wemby, like arm's length.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Hey!
This is the Jason Smith Show.
Check this out. Pay attention.
With Mike Harmon.
Biggest lessons we have learned from the playoffs this year. If you are injured and you would like to play again in the playoffs, do not go to Spain for treatment.
Number 1.
That's number 1. Do not go to Spain for treatment. That does not work.
Even though the internet would tell you it's a very popular destination and great results, I have to go and I need a further breakdown because the title of that doesn't work in this particular case.
World Cup favorites, right? One of the two, no matter who's doing it, probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams overall in the world for the World Cup coming up in a couple of weeks. But if you want to play in the playoffs, don't go to Spain for treatment. Somewhere else. Maybe Canada, maybe Mexico, Russia, maybe Portugal.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. We got what you want.
Your ears are perfect for this.
We got what they want.
Because there's nobody else like them.
We got the goods.
This is no longer a theory. It's a hypothesis. Like we've had it tested multiple times.
Good.
All day.
Go look at the numbers.
Bringing it to the entire nation.
All night.
Every damn night.
We got that good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Man, let's ride.
We are Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details.
We run the NBA now. Mike Woodson, yeah? Mello, Bully, Chandler, Bully, Kenya Martin, Bully, J.R. Smith, Bully, Pigioni, he's taking your cookies. You hear me? Jason Kidd, he's open for 3.
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
There's an example of a Knicks fan tonight.
I didn't know if I realized you even had that in there.
That's from 2013.
Well, you give me a Pablo Prigioni. reference. My
He's taking
God.
your cookies.
That's pretty good.
Jason Kidd, he's open for 3.
F&A on FSR. We got a phone call we'll get to here in a second. I did receive a tweet. Mark Osofsky is upset over something that I said earlier in the show.
Uh-oh.
He said, did I hear you call Myles Garrett the best defensive player in the last 20 years? How quickly do you forget Aaron Donald, hands down the MVP of the Rams, Super Bowl winning team, and the most dominant player on the field week in and week out? I'm not going to argue against you. Very dominant. He also played for a team that was stacked. I mean, if Myles Garrett was on that team and Aaron Donald wasn't, I'm not saying that he's as good or whatever. I think they're comparable.
They play different positions too.
Now, I will say I will give more credence to an interior pass rusher, a dominant interior lineman over an outside guy like Myles Garrett. But let's be honest, Myles Garrett can get some pressure from the inside too.
No doubt. But I do think Aaron Donald is probably the best at his position ever.
I would agree with that. Yes.
That's tough to beat. But
Yes.
you're splitting hairs here. You're going from
this is probably the
best defensive guy in Aaron Donald
to maybe the second best in the last 20 years. I mean,
Yeah,
come
there you
on.
go.
So you know what, Mark, I'll give you that. Aaron Donald the best, but I'm putting Myles Garrett right on his heels. How about that?
All right, way to give him some credit there.
Yeah, lest I offend Mark and other fans of Aaron Donald, who I love too.
All right, we got a phone call here from a
Okay.
Knicks fan. I don't know if he's like the loopy blogger who we just listened to. He may be excited though as well. It's Andre calling from Lancaster. Is this the Andre that I fear that is calling in?
Yes.
Oh, this is him. All right.
Is it
No.
this Andre?
Why are you mad at me, Adam? Yep, it's that one.
Why are you mad at me, Andre?
Andre, longtime
I'm not.
F&A listener, has had many run-ins with Adam over the years. They've
I'm
blocked
not
each
mad
other
at Adam.
and unblocked each other on social media.
I mean, he stalked me many times over.
Yeah, big time Knicks fan.
Showed up drunk on my birthday one
I've
time.
I've heard you guys. I was not drunk at your stop. I had to drive home. Anyways,
He was very sober.
but yeah, I was. No, I'm not upset at you, Adam, because I've heard this in every other podcast there is. So like, what is it hearing it from you? Like, to be real, but I'm waiting for the defense to get better. It got better, and it didn't matter. We're up 2-0. I'm in my Kobe mode. Job's not done yet, though. So I'm level-headed. I'm not.
Okay, come on.
I've never
cut
been
the
in
S.
the finals before. So no, I'm seriously. I've never been in the finals before. I don't know how to feel, but I'm just waiting for 2 more wins. And then if those 2 wins happen, then you'll get Andre 3000 ways to hit on you.
See, Andre, I respect you. Don't want to get overzealous because, again, like I mentioned at the end of last segment, Adam, he's a Knicks fan. He's seen it. He's had his heart stolen so many times. He can't be overconfident, even with the 2. If he has a 3-0 lead, he's still probably not going to be overconfident.
I mean, it's not like just last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Halle Band
look at you.
took him down multiple times too.
Why'd you have to bring that
What
up?
have the Clippers done?
Wait, we're not talking about the Clippers right now, Andre.
Yeah,
there you go, Andre.
Clippers done?
We could cut this phone line off real quick here. You better relax.
Fine, bro. I'm tired. I'm about to go to.
Hey, you better be worshiping the Clippers right now with what Landry Shamit's doing, shooting 60% from 3 in the playoffs.
You're going to take credit for that? He hasn't played for the Clippers in 6 years.
We made him clutch.
I love Landry Shamet. I love Landry Shamet right now.
He hit his first clutch shot as a Clipper. Now he's doing it in the NBA Finals for the Knicks.
Also, Landry Shamit's like 24 of 33 or something from 3 in this postseason run. Something
He's
crazy
shooting
like that.
60% from 3.
That's like Danny Green status with the Spurs back in the day.
Who's the MVP for you in this series, Andre? Is it Brunson or is it Cat?
No, it's Towns. But if Brunson goes off in game 3 and 4 and we sweep, then probably Brunson. But right now, I'm giving it to Towns.
Brunson gets the statue though, regardless, right?
Oh yeah.
Minute. How many times
everything?
How many times did you doubt Karl Anthony Towns ever playing at this high of a level in a Knicks uniform?
Me, not really. I don't like
whatever.
He never bothered me that much. Like I didn't like. I know people like call him Zesty and stuff, and like, but now
Big purr.
I always thought we were just a little short. But now I think we got the experience. I think getting all ever since
30
since today, it was just a little. All right, we got this, we got this, and now we're trying to take it all, man.
All right, well, I feel that's necessary. Best of luck to you and your Knicks. 2 more wins to go there, Andre. Thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it.
Team of Destiny, a call of destiny there. Andre 3000 ways to hate on FNAs
10
since the old podcast days. Coming up next, we're
5 seconds.
Phil and Vinny Bonsignor here on FNA on Fox Sports Radio.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
FS1. From first things first in the herd to your sports teams, FS1 has what you need. To find FS1 on your television, visit FoxSports.com for details. Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
These guys are sick, man.
I've been saying it for a long time. The Thunder were a great matchup for the Spurs. The Knicks are a bad matchup for the Spurs. As long as
it was
Wemby
Bill from
isn't
Anaheim
being one of the
asking what
Western
you guys
Conference
are going to talk
Finals,
about
Wemby, where, oh
for
my
the
goodness,
rest of
this
the
guy
night.
could be playing just by himself and he would be winning the game, I feel good.
He's
Because
like,
I
are
don't
they going to
think
talk
Wemby is
basketball
going
all
to
night?
tilt
And
the
I'm like, no,
game
they're talking
and tilt
football and
the
they're talking
series one way or
baseball.
the other. He needs
Okay.
to be his normal great Wemby self to keep the Spurs in it. But I'm not worried about him taking over like he did in the Western Conference Finals because the Knicks have more scoring and they have more depth and more guys that can score than the Thunder did. Because you saw as the series went on, boy, if SGA wasn't doing it from the free throw line, they weren't getting points, right? You're seeing it. If something happened, look, Wemby can only be, and I'm sure they're going to exhaust him. It's the end of a long run for Wemby. He's played a lot of minutes. The Knicks are going to move the ball all around. And if something happens, and hey, life is a little bit difficult for Brunson, then guess what? Bridges can score 30. Anunoby can score 30. Josh Hart can score 20 and give you a triple-double. The Knicks are much more well-rounded of a team than Oklahoma City was. So offensively, I don't see Wemby having that kind of impact, and I'm sure the Knicks are going to get him moving the entire time. Even though they're young, the Spurs, hey, they expended a lot of energy, and it feels like maybe they put everything into getting out of the Western Conference Finals. That was 7 games of blood on the floor and hair on the walls, and suddenly I expect the Knicks to be able to do that. So Wemby, as long as he's not allowed to be game one Wemby.
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
The last person I want to hear from is Nick Saban. You mean the guy who quit after he was able to undermine the system, but those players happen to be doing pretty well down there, and he won all his championships? These guys got some nerve to come in, and now they want to regulate. They could have done it in the beginning, Kelvin, right? If they would have made the system and cut in the players on all these billions of dollars that they make from television revenue, we wouldn't be here. But they were so damn greedy. And now all the old guard have to show up and say, stop these guys from making money. This isn't my system. Nick Saban, you quit.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. Weekdays at 7 p.m.
Kev.
Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Jason Smith.
You ready?
Mike Harmon. And that's it. We've put the sports world on notice.
We're going to do our thing.
We've taken 2 of the best to disrupt the status quo.
That's not a bad idea.
Do you agree, Mike Harmon?
Oh, hell yeah. Good for them.
Did we mention their best friends?
Smith and I, we butt heads about a lot of things.
They both need help.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. Live sports and live programming. FS1. Big games. Big takes. To find FS1 on your television, visit foxsports.com for details. here's what you need to know.
The Knicks won at San Antonio 105-104 to take a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals. Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 13 rebounds. New York took the late lead on a free throw by Jalen Brunson, who had 20 points, 5 steals. That foul came right after a turnover by Victor Wembanyama. The Knicks have won 13 straight. As for the baseball, the Dodgers' Freddie Freeman homered bottom of the ninth for a 1-0 win over the Angels.
Ready to
The
go.
Mets shut out the Padres 5-0. San Diego's lost 6 straight. Milwaukee scored 4 in the ninth and 4 in the 10th to win at Colorado 9-7. Washington a 14-1 victory at Arizona. San Francisco won 18-3 at the Cubs. St. Louis pounded the Reds 10-3. Baltimore won 13-3 at Toronto. Adley Rutschman went 4 for 4, 5 RBIs. Boston beat the Yankees 5-3. Tampa Bay 6-0 over Miami. I'm Steve DeSager.
Let's begin, shall we?
F&A.
Let me tell you something.
Kevin Figures.
My entire take here is moot.
Adam Osley.
There's a conversation to be had.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. They're kicking the weekend off. It's F&A.
Point well taken.
Sound good?
That is so exciting.
Yeah. Live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's F&A. Kevin Figures and Adam Osley.
Hour 2 of F&A on FSR. Thank you guys for joining us. At KFig1 is where you can find me on X. Adam is at Follow Adam A on X. Coming up a little later this hour, we'll get back into the NBA with the NBA 3 off-season topics. Some player movement potentially around the NBA. We'll get back into that coming up a little bit later this hour.
And don't worry, we'll get to that rap news.
I'm chilling in the hood with the gangsters.
We will get to that rap news. Somebody the other day, after listening to Jay-Z rant in that freestyle on stage and go after Drake a little bit, said it sounded like my onk.
I'm chilling in the hood with the gangsters, drinking liquor, hanging out. Don't care about nothing in the world.
It said it sounded like that. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's a shot at Jay-Z and saying he's old now. I thought the freestyle was okay. But we're freestyling a little bit too much because we got a phone call.
Yes.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donnie.
Los Angeles Rams making waves as they typically do. You know, they trained for Trent McDuffie earlier in the offseason prior to the draft, and then they kind of out of nowhere overnight swing a humongous trade for Myles Garrett on Monday earlier this week. But unless we bury the lead, I don't want to talk to Vinny Bonsignore about that. We have one of the biggest Knicks fans that I know on the line right now there, Adam.
Yeah.
He's New York through and through, and I don't know how overconfident he is with the Knicks being up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. But Vinny Bonsignore from the California Post, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to bring you down from Cloud 9 after what happened on Friday night. How you feeling with the Knicks being up 2-0?
I'm feeling pretty good about the Knicks. And you know, on my radio show in Las Vegas, I've been referring to this series as kind of the Boys to Men series because I just felt like San Antonio is the more talented team, but they're kids right now compared to the men that are on the Knicks, the guys that have been in this league for a little while. And by the way, how great was that 2016 Villanova championship team in retrospect?
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at a picture of all, Jalen and Josh Hart, Williams, and, Dante
Bridges.
Yeah. I mean, what a talented team that it might be one of the greatest college teams of all time now in retrospect, seeing what these guys are doing right now for the Knicks. But so great for the Knicks to be up 2-0. But they absolutely have to close it out, in New York and start the parade.
So I assume you bought the tickets for, I think the cheapest price was $10,000 to go to Game 3 there, Vinny.
Well, you know, if he got in late and he wants to purchase them now, the cheapest ticket is $9,826. So
That's a steal.
So less than $10,000, Vinny. You can still get yourself in there.
It's a clearance.
Just my luck. The Raiders mandatory mini campus.
Oh, damn it!
Not going to be able to go.
Otherwise,
killing me, Fernando. Come on.
Otherwise, I would have been watching it on TV like everybody else.
Vinny, maybe you can clear something up for us because there was a listener on Twitter earlier going after us talking about Myles Garrett being a Ram now and saying he's the best defensive player of the last 20 years. How would you put him tier-wise next to Aaron Donald all time on the defensive end?
Man, that's a great question. For my money, the best defensive player that I've ever covered, and I've covered Max Crosby, the last 7 years or so. And I've told Max this. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Donald. But I think Aaron, between he and Garrett, I just haven't seen enough. Like I have the or I guess the disadvantage for Miles is, from my perspective, is I saw Aaron Donald take over practice after practice, training camp, OTAs, whatever the setting was, whatever the rep was. I saw him just dismantle opposing offense or the Rams offensive lines, and then everybody else that he played against. So mine would have to be Aaron Donald, but we're all going to get a chance to watch Myles Garrett game in and game out, practice in and practice out. And so maybe that's a question to ask in a year or two, and the answer might change. The bottom line is the Rams just went and got themselves the most lethal pass rusher, closer in the NFL on defensively. And I know that was what Sean McVay really felt was the difference between the Seahawks and the Rams last year was closers. The Rams didn't have the closers defensively in some key moments to get the Seattle Seahawks offense off the field in two critical losses late in the season, and then obviously the NFC Championship game. He and I talked about that at the owners' meetings back in March. So had an inkling that the Rams were going to try to bring somebody in that can close games for him defensively. Little did I know, or did anybody else, that it was going to be Myles Garrett.
So, Vinny, the thought process here, and you've talked about this for a couple of months, when the Rams drafted Ty Simpson, and a lot of people were wondering why you would take a quarterback at that point in the draft much higher than many people thought. And the thought was like, well, they have a pretty locked-in roster. Yeah, they could bring in a rookie that may be able to help them. And now it sounds as if this was part of a grander plan. They knew they could be able to lock up a quarterback now so they can trade future assets if someone like Myles Garrett were to become available, which he was. Did you know, and you're well dialed into that organization, you covered the Rams for years, you know Sean McVay, you know Les Snead very well. Did you have an inkling that this move was potentially a possibility when they used their 13th overall pick to draft Ty Simpson?
I knew a move was a possibility. Even in my own imagination, I couldn't see that it was going to be Myles Garrett, only because I didn't think the Cleveland Browns, would have the what to go ahead and make that trade. But when you really think about this Rams offseason, the Ty Simpson, you have to first go back to the Trent McDuffie trade. If that trade doesn't happen, then all bets are off at that 13th pick, because if they don't sew up their cornerback room, which was basically their only weakness, by getting McDuffie and then signing Jalen Watson as well, to the extent that they did, then maybe that 13th pick would have been used for a defensive player or to help their defensive secondary. So it all kind of started with that, being able to secure a player as good as Trent McDuffie and then sign Jalen Watson. That allowed them to then be aggressive with the quarterback at 13th. And then by doing that, just like you said, it saved all their future assets to address the rest of the roster. But the key to all of that is they believe, whether you want to agree with it or anybody else or disagree with it, everybody has the right to do that. In their estimation, Ty Simpson is the kind of quarterback that they could win championships with. Otherwise, they're not drafting him at that spot in the draft. And I know because I talked to Sean McVay about this very thing back at the owners' meetings, and I asked him. At this point, they'd already had, Trent McDuffie in the fold. And I was like, would you be willing to use the 13th pick on a quarterback that might not be able to help you for a couple of years, a year or two? And he told me I absolutely would. He goes, but the key is you better be bleepingly bleep sure that quarterback is a dude, is a guy that you legitimately think that you can win with. And so the possibility was open to him at that point. He was open to it. And obviously, as he said, you don't make that pick unless you really believe that guy could be a great player. So obviously, that's what the Rams believe Ty Simpson can be. And then by doing that and securing the quarterback of the future, like we were just talking about, like you just alluded to, it helped. It now preserved all other assets for all other positions on the field. And instead of saving those assets to maybe trade up to go get a quarterback in next year's draft or trade for a quarterback, Joe Burrow, maybe, like they did for Matthew Stafford, they could use those assets on other areas of the roster. And that's exactly what they did in the Myles Garrett trade.
NFL analyst Vinny Bonsignor for the California Post is with us here on FNA on Fox Sports Radio. Vinny, what can you say just overall, and we're going to get into this later in the final hour, of just how well run this Rams organization is and knowing when the time is to strike and going for it? Because obviously Matthew Stafford, he's near the end, even though he's still the reigning MVP right here. But the injuries could pile up, but there's a small window, and they're saying we're going all in. You know, a couple of years ago, we thought maybe he doesn't play much longer. He had the arm issue. He had the back issue going into last year with Matthew Stafford. And Sean McVay, people were wondering if he was going to go into broadcasting, if he was going to leave the team. They hold it together, and now they're trying to make this second run here with this squad.
Yeah, and if you go back a little bit behind that, remember the infamous email that went out to their season ticket holders. Hey, we got to do a little restructuring here. You know, it might take a while. Well, it didn't take any time at all. They barely missed a beat. You know, there was a one down year, kind of some injuries that occurred that year, but otherwise they've been in contention for the Super Bowl every year, basically. So, yes, they are an extremely well-run organization, and I think it starts with Stan Kroenke and having the financial wherewithal that he has and the openness to go make big investments like they have over the years, but it also starts, in my mind, with Les Snead and his scouting department, because you don't make some of these moves, even the Garrett move and others that they have where they've been really aggressive trading first and second round picks and not having a first round pick from like 2017 to 2022, I think it was, to go get, other veteran players. You don't have the comfort level to do that unless you truly believe in your ability to find talent outside of just the first and the second round. And the Rams are notorious now with Les Snead for finding talent all over the field and all over the draft. And then on top of that, having a great coaching staff led by Sean McVay to develop those players so that you're continually churning out really good players and building really solid rosters that, are good enough to justify, hey, let's go trade for Matthew Stafford right now. Or, hey, let's go trade, let's go bring in a Devontae Adams. Let's go trade for Myles Garrett right now and give up, what looks to be a lot, because we feel like our roster is so good right now that we can win and be in contention to win a couple of Super Bowls over the, however long Myles Garrett is going to play and Matthew Stafford's going to be on this roster. So it kind of all starts with that. And that's their ability to draft and develop is the key to the whole thing. And then, and it allows you to be aggressive because you have that confidence. They have that confidence in themselves that, hey, we don't need a first or second round pick. It would be great to have them, but we could use them for more established veterans and use the rest of the draft and undrafted free agency and sometimes trades to be able to keep this thing going in terms of the roster always being upper echelon in the NFL.
NFL columnist for the California Post, Vinny Bonsignore, joining us here on FNA on FSR. So on the heels of the Myles Garrett acquisition, rumors started to bubble up as to whether or not they try to entice Aaron Donald to come out of retirement and join the squad. And Aaron, in several interactions with several different people over the past few days, has not said no. And has said if he can find the juice, he'd be interested. And we know he keeps himself in phenomenal shape, but being in shape is different than being in football shape. And he hasn't played in a couple of years. So I guess the question, Vinny, is how likely is it that he returns? And if he does return, are we talking about training camp? Are we talking about him coming at some point like late in the season in November or early December? What do you think is the most likely scenario for Aaron Donald if he decides to come out? Or do you think he'll decide to come out of retirement and rejoin the squad?
I do think he's thinking about it. But this is what I know about Aaron Donald. For Aaron Donald to give himself a chance to play at the level that he's not just accustomed to, but holds himself to. Like, he doesn't want to play anything less than, than the best version of Aaron Donald. And I know Aaron knows how hard the commitment, the dedication, the year-roundedness that he had to pour into being Aaron Donald, because he wasn't going to settle for anything less than being Aaron Donald. The Aaron Donald that we saw out there didn't just happen overnight. That was like a year-round, obligation that he made to get himself to that level. So when he says, I got to see if I can, rekindle that or find the fire, I think is what he said. He really means that. It's like, it's not, hey, do I want to go out there and play football again? I think that's the easy answer. The real question is, do I have the fire to put the 24/7 work in to get back to being Aaron Donald? And I think that that's not as easy as people might think, because when I tell you that this guy was one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest worker that I've ever seen, that's not an exaggeration. So he's going to have to get himself back to that mental state of this. I am committed to working around the clock as I always did to get back to being Aaron Donald. That's the question to me, and I think he's going to give it an honest shot. But I wouldn't, hold it against him or be disappointed in him or angry with him if I'm a Rams fan if he can't find that, because that's a special place and a very exclusive place to get yourself to. He did for many, many years, and it's kind of why he left a little bit earlier than maybe some people thought, because of all that 24/7 nonstop work and dedication to be Aaron Donald, the Hall of Famer. So he's going to have to figure out a way to get that light turned on, and if he wants to turn that light back on.
So, Vinny, they were in the NFC Championship game last year, losing to the eventual champs. They add Myles Garrett coming off breaking the all-time sack record. Is this Rams team the best team in the league if healthy, or do you still need to see it and see them prove it against the champs?
No, they are definitely I thought they were the best team in the league before they made this trade. So it only enhances it. Now, that doesn't mean, that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I've had conversations with Les Snead about this, and he fully acknowledges it's hard to thread that needle. It's hard to be one of 32. It's extremely hard. You need a lot of good luck. You need to stay healthy. You need the breaks to go your way. You can't drop a punt in the other, in your red zone to give, your opponent on the road a chance to score a touchdown on the very next play to basically win the NFC Championship game. You can't make those mistakes, and even if there's just a couple of those mistakes, those are too many. So this isn't, I think from the outside looking in, obviously it's Super Bowl or bust, and it will be a disappointment if they don't win the Super Bowl this year or get to the Super Bowl this year. But
Andrew from Bakersfield wants to talk the finals.
But I will say that to me, there's no doubt in my mind that they are the most talented team in football when you look at what they have weapon-wise, when you look at what they have at quarterback, the reigning MVP, when you look at what they've added now defensively, one of the premier cornerbacks in the game, the best rush end in the game and defensive player in the game, and Myles Garrett, on top of what they already had in place, a roster and a team that was inches short of going back to the Super Bowl. So, yes, to me, they are the best team in the league, the best roster in the league, but that doesn't guarantee anybody anything.
Last one for me, Vinny, just on a macro view, do you think the Rams mentality over this past, decade or so has created a little bit of a sea change in the NFL? First round picks have always been so highly coveted, and, people want to hold on to them for dear life for the potential of what these guys will be. And the Rams have had that, quote unquote, F them picks mentality for a while. But you look at what Green Bay traded away for Micah Parsons. You look at what the Ravens were going to trade away for Max Crosby. The idea that we have these first round picks, which are basically just a giant gamble, and the ability to trade them for a known commodity that can help me win today. It seems like a pretty obvious statement, but I feel like up until recent seasons, we haven't seen teams be as aggressive and willing to trade away first round picks for established players as often as it's happened over the past, I'd say, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. And, part of that is, you do have to be careful. I know we have fun with the F those picks and et cetera, et cetera. But the key to it is really being able to honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this the right time for us to make this investment? And for the Rams, it's been for the Green Bay Packers. I thought that was a great move for them. We'll see if Jordan Love and they can take that next step. But I think those teams, the teams that can honestly look at themselves and maybe, whereas in the past they would say, we're not going to give up 2 first, we can't give up 2 first round picks. Those types of teams, if they're being honest with where they are, I think, to your point, are becoming more and more okay with, hey, we don't know how long this window is going to last. We got to maximize it right now. We've got a quarterback that's in his prime. We've got this great, otherwise, and relatively inexpensive roster. We have the money under the salary cap. We have the assets. Let's try to cash in right now and make it happen. I think there absolutely is a more of a willingness from those types of teams to make those types of moves.
I know some people in San Antonio saying F them Knicks tonight. As we got a Knicks fan on with us, Vinny Bonsignor of the California Post. He's a senior NFL columnist, NFL expert. Vinny, thanks for doing this late night here on FNA on Fox Sports Radio. We appreciate it, my friend.
Anytime, guys. Have a great show.
Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. We had a lot of Knicks talk tonight.
Yeah.
Andre called in. We had Vinny call in. Now, granted, we asked Vinny to come on the show, if we're to be honest with you, but still.
We didn't even know for sure that he was a Knicks fan.
Well,
this was some late.
Well, I know. I talked to him. I know he was a Mets fan. I know he has roots in the city of New York.
I thought he'd be a Brooklyn Nets fan then.
Yeah, that's
Mets and Nets stick together, the underdogs.
Yeah, it's just a weird splintering when it comes to that. You have some, Mets, Jets, Nets, but then you have a lot of Knicks and Mets and Jets and Knicks and Mets and Giants and Mets, and it's confusing.
Do you want to take a phone call from a possible Knicks fan here?
Yeah, why not?
Andrew calling from Bakersfield.
Sorry, Mark. I know we have to go, but let's get Andrew in here really fast.
Andrew, what's up? You're on FNA.
All right, guys. I was listening to the game. I was listening to Jason Smith and Mike Harmon, and they said Wemby took a 10-footer and missed it. I didn't see it, so maybe you could explain. But my question is, why didn't he attack the basket and slam it down Cat's head? And then I have Wemby, just put your hands in front of you, flex, and say, go ahead, hit me as hard as you can in the stomach.
What is he, the Joker? Hit me. Happy Gilmore in the batting cages?
I mean, as great as Wemby is, I don't know if at this stage in his development, he wants to stand there stonewalled and tell Mitchell Robinson with a full head of steam, come at me, bro. I don't think that's going to end well for Wemby, to be honest with you.
It's not a Space Jam movie, even though it looks like it at times with the way he can reach to the basket.
Oh,
I understood the final play. I thought they got into the action a little bit late, and that was my only real question mark because Wemby got basically a wide open look, right elbow jumper,
and he was just long.
Knock that down.
He was just a little bit long on it. I mean, he was straight on. You can't make every shot.
I wish De'Aaron Fox came up a little bit earlier for him to set the screen in the pick and roll there and try to get that I guess advantage on the matchup with him and Mitchell Robinson if Fox wanted to take him off the dribble, if that was the other option there. But I don't have a problem with the shot. And Wemby said it post game, you got to hit that.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for a better look. Yeah, he had plenty of separation. I believe Mitchell Robinson was actually guarding him on that play. Had plenty of separation, had a good look, and he was just a little bit long. You're going to miss shots every now and then.
Well, and they're
that
packing
is forgivable.
The paint.
Yeah,
they're waiting for him on the interior. Like you might get a tougher shot there because they were almost like playing a box and one with their defense in a zone almost where they were on the corners of the paint, just waiting for Wemby to try to attack. But I don't fault that play. There were some other plays, though, earlier. Coming up next, though, we got to get back into some other NBA stories going on with the NBA 3 here on FNA on Fox Sports Radio.
They stunned the Spurs in San Antonio.
Game 2 is in the books.
Like that.
And the Knicks take it.
Jalen Brunson, a ridiculous shot. Got the heart of a champion.
We'll have the reactions.
They get better as the game goes along.
While we set you up for Game 3. Go. On Fox Sports Radio.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
It's here. King of the Hill and WD-40 brand present the limited edition King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can. Available now exclusively at the Home Depot, in-store and online. How many are you grabbing? One for you, one for your dad, and one for every Hank in your life. Get your King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can today before they're gone. Watch the new season of the Hulu original King of the Hill on July 20th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Available nationwide for a limited time while supplies last. Availability varies by location and online.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Game night's fun until someone spends 5 minutes lining up one shot. Chalk, breathe, re-chalk, Still aiming. While they figure it out, I fire up Chumba Casino. I can spin anywhere, anytime, and there's always a new social casino game every week. Spins happen way faster than that shot. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Let's Chumba. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
One guy sees the whole board.
I keeps it real, son.
But here's where I got smoke with you, sir.
The other guy sees what he wants.
Kelvin, you're so full of it.
I know they won the game, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give it to you real.
They couldn't be further apart.
Well, let me say it this way.
Stop it.
And that's why this works. It's The Odd Couple.
Book it.
With Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
What? You know you make me wanna.
Keep screaming.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen.
Here they are.
Their morning show's funny.
Kind of set the tone for my day.
This is the show that has two pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Well, it's unfortunate that we are inching closer, even though, for the record, the Knox Locks pick from yesterday was Knicks in 7. And we're inching closer to that. And I just think it's going to be just a disgusting time to have to watch blowhards in Manhattan walk around with brand new Knicks gear on because they finally have something to cheer about for the first time in 40-something years.
I forgot. This is because you got your ass kicked by a guy from New York one time, right?
No, please. It just, in watching the game last night, you're just reminded that San Antonio's really young.
They had to take each other's best shots in this game. I mean, you could tell the energy was there. You could tell that the Spurs were ready for the game. I don't think that you got to throw out that you can clearly tell that they're young. I think they came out and they played hard. It was a game that delivered to hopefully what people's expectations were, to have a competitive, good-looking finals, because last I checked, a lot of people, oh, hey, whatever happens in the West, soon as it happens in the West, it's over.
Mike Brown deserves a lot of credit, and Brunson just always delivers. I mean, he's a closer, man. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, comparing him to like Mariano Rivera or like whoever, but when the game gets tight, but the game's in his hands, I feel as confident in him as anyone else.
But to get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's Colin Cowherd, outspoken.
I know it's uncomfortable and nobody wants to talk about it.
It's the Herd.
This is
the Herd.
That's what this is.
Man of the people.
People don't want Socrates or Aristotle. They want a guy.
Oh, did I mention outspoken?
I'm sorry, guys, but unpopular opinion. Rivalries are overrated.
It's the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Listen every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Wow.
Right here on Fox Sports Radio. We like to give. We give you news.
There is late breaking news.
It has been confirmed.
Multiple outlets have just reported.
We give you videos.
Watch us live on YouTube right now.
We give you a platform.
Go ahead, you're on Fox Sports Radio.
SGA is great as he is just happy.
We give you the best sports talk lineup in the nation. All day, all night. We're giving it to you.
How you do anything is how you do everything, right?
You know you're listening to Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
If it amazes you, then you don't know anything about basketball.
FNA, Cotton, FNA.
Welcome back in. It's FNA on Fox Sports Radio. I'm Adam Mosley. He's Kevin Figures. Remember, with the iHeart app, you can stream us wherever you are. Catch us and all of our Fox Sports Radio shows live 24/7 in the new and improved iHeart app. Just search Fox Sports Radio in the app and stream us live all day, every day. And be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as one of your presets in the iHeart app, so it will always pop up at the top of your screen. Again, just search Fox Sports Radio in the iHeart app.
Coming up, next segment, we'll get into that rap news. And we have another beef on our hands, apparently.
I wouldn't call it. You know what? It might be a beef, actually.
Okay, so we'll get into that, and we'll dive back into the NFL and the super team that is upon us here in Los Angeles, coming up in the next hour of the show as well.
Being Steph Curry with the shot. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! From the outside, Smith fires for three. Oh, come on. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. And the Blazers win the series.
You know, Drake used to have some hits.
Used to.
I hear he's going to close out at
His
the
career?
World Cup.
Oh, sorry.
At the World.
It's so funny. Okay, anyways.
He's going to perform at the World Cup final
Interesting.
on July 15th
Is the final
with
in
Team
Canada?
USA versus Brazil.
Is the final in Canada?
That's a good question, is it?
I don't think so.
Would that be the reason, or just because he has a new album out? So he's that guy. Excuse me, a new 3 albums that are out.
Yes, right. All 3 sucked, right?
43 tracks. I'd say 5 listenable songs total there.
That's a lot of crap to sift through.
5 for 43.
Because if you have 3 albums, each album is at least 10 songs. And these days, knowing how these rappers are, one album is like 22.
Oh, yeah.
So this is probably like 60 songs or something we're talking about.
It's a lot.
And 5 are listenable?
It's a lot of crap.
The whole album has a clear, crisp sound.
Yikes.
I suppose it does have a crisp sound. It is Iceman, but it's bad. It's a bad sound.
It will be at MetLife in New York.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the final is going to be.
Well, they'll be celebrating the Knicks winning the championship.
So they could wait. So they couldn't get Jay-Z or Fat Joe. Maybe they don't want to do Fat Joe anymore. That didn't go too well for them in the World Series.
No, but he was at the game tonight, and he was trying to distract Wemby.
Oh, so they allowed him to buy tickets to San Antonio because Cleveland wouldn't let him in. So
you can really tell all the weight that he had lost as of late. Well,
wasn't that who was it? Who was the Dodger who took a shot at him? Oh, it was Kike Hernandez says he's not so fat anymore, and I was like, is that a shot at him, or
it's a compliment?
Is that a compliment? Or like, I mean, can you call yourself Fat Joe when you're walking around and you're $160? I don't know how that works.
We beat your team, but hey, at least you lost weight.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're winning in life. We'll take it.
You got that going.
Oh, this is our NBA 3, one of the old staples from the old FNA podcast days.
Should we start with Austin Reeves? Because our old friend Brad Turner from the LA Times, who has been on this show before, reported earlier this week that Austin Reeves is seeking a max contract.
Well, all my money. Yeah. Every damn cent I can get.
That means almost $240 million. 5-year deal, $240 million, and it's uncertain whether he would be willing to take a hometown discount, which he did the first time around.
Correct.
Actually, they got that discount. Now you're paying full price, maybe.
And well, if you were, I'll say this, Adam. If you are him, would you take a hometown discount, or are you trying to get every single cent that you can get?
Here's the thing. Austin Reeves, he seems like a grounded dude. Hillbilly Kobe.
Yep.
I don't know how much the money means to him more than winning. This guy does have a real desire and a drive to win. It's all gravy for him. He was undrafted to begin with. He's not supposed to be here. So if he only gets 200 million instead of 240, is it the end of the world for Austin Reeves?
How's he supposed to feed his family on $200 million, Adam?
Easy, Latrell
What the hell's wrong
Sprewell.
with you?
Where's my money, bitch?
And I'll say this, because there was a lot of talk and discourse over the past week about LeBron James, and he'd have to have a discussion with the Laker organization as to what plans they'll make in determining how big of a pay cut he'll take. I don't know if LeBron has that kind of leverage with the organization at this point in his career, but Austin Reeves does.
Yeah.
So, he can say, like, hey, man, I know you guys retain my rights and I can make more with you than I can anywhere else and all that jazz, but you want me to take a pay cut? Cool. At least tell me what your plan is. I know you might not be able to execute it because there's a lot of moving parts and there's restricted free agents you might try to go after and there's the trade market. But give me plan A, B, C, D, and E, and then we'll talk about exactly. And by the way, he could be the final chip to fall, the final domino in their free agency plans too, by the way. So he can agree to something and not actually sign it until the last minute, but after they make all their other moves.
What's interesting was the reaction from Laker Nation to this report, where many of them were really panicking. I mean, it was...
felt a great disturbance in the force.
Why?
As if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror.
Laker fans cried out.
Suddenly silenced.
Because they think this could cap their ceiling. If you're building around Luka and Austin as your number 2 for this much money, a lot of Laker fans, Austin has become somewhat polarizing because his lack of playoff success. Ever since that first round series in 2023 with the Memphis Grizzlies, he has been exposed at times. And if that's your backcourt, well, they're going to get picked on a lot. You better have 3 good starters next to Luka and Austin Reeves. I agree with them to an extent.
Well,
I do think that may not be a championship type of ceiling.
Barring a sign and trade, which he would have to agree to, what is your alternative? Let him walk?
This is the problem.
So the best thing that you can do, if he's not going to play ball, then he's going to ask for every single solitary cent that he can get. You sign him to the extension, see how the fit is, and then you enter into the trade market and see what you can get for him if you feel that he's expendable or you need to make other moves, because there will be a market for him. He's talented. You don't get a bunch of, and he had a bit of a down year for shooting from 3 this year, but shooting 20-plus points per game, can control the ball the way he can control it, getting to the free throw line. He is a quality player. So you can get something on the trade market for him, even if he's making a max deal.
Yeah. You can't afford to lose him for nothing. He's not a restricted free agent.
Right.
He's already went through that with the Lakers and gave them a sweetheart deal before that he is greatly overperformed with that contract. Now it's his time to get his money. Look, I don't fault any guy for getting as much as they can. I'm not pocket watching over here. I'm just reading some of the tea leaves, reading some of the texts and tweets that are out there from Laker Nation and seeing how they would feel about him taking the full max. But you mentioned LeBron James earlier.
Yeah.
There was a report this week that maybe the Golden State Warriors are circling back as they put out some feelers last season. So the 24-25 year.
About trading
and
for
there
him,
was
right?
a real possible trade that was out there to the point where there were discussions. It sounded like Jeannie Buss may have been involved.
Yeah, Jeannie
Rich
and Joe
Paul.
Lacob, the owners, talked about it, apparently.
So that's not nothing. I think this is a real possibility. LeBron going to Golden State could happen this time around this summer.
So they'd have if they can clear money off of their books, the non-taxpayer MLE, which would be about $15 million, the most that they'd be able to give him. Now, we know the Lakers can give him more. The question is, what is the Lakers' cutoff point when it comes to the amount of money they're willing to give him?
Yeah.
And is it just about money for him, or is it something else? That's only LeBron James knows that. If the Lakers are offering, he's not going to make $50 million like he made this past season, but if they're offering 25 and he's like, well, I'd rather get 15 and go to Golden State. I don't know if that's better for him or if he just wants to fulfill the dream of playing with Steph Curry, or what his mindset would be. I think he would have a better shot of winning with the Lakers than he would with Golden State.
I mean, yeah. Can you really justify, as good as Steph Curry still is, he's 38, I think going on 39. Luka's 27. I think Luka's the better player currently, or at least in theory should be more reliable than Steph Curry at this point of his career. And if it's him, Luka, and Austin Reeves, and remember, they had that great March, which was kind of their proof of concept.
It was.
If they do run it back, it's because they felt like what they did in March is repeatable, going 15-2 before things fell apart with all the injuries going on. They still got to the second round, mostly on the shoulders of LeBron James. However, I am very intrigued by him teaming up with Steph Curry. I think those two, I remember the first time I saw them in the All-Star game together on the same team. And I felt like these guys, they complement each other's games so well out there. They're such high IQ players. Then you see them in the Olympics, 2024 playing together. Like, I would actually love to see it.
It'll be fun to watch, but here's going back to something Rich Paul said last offseason. At this point in his career, when it looked like there might be a potential divorce between LeBron and the Lakers, he says, we know that Luka's the future and they're building for him. LeBron's motivation is to go somewhere where is to continue to play in a situation where he can win championships. He's not winning a championship with Golden State, playing next to Steph, who's hurt and getting older. LeBron's getting older. Jimmy Butler's coming off of a major injury and is in his mid-30s. Like,
he needs a young buck to hand the baton to, like he was supposed to do with Anthony Davis,
right.
And Luka could be that guy.
Correct. So if it's fun and loose and playing with your friends and you make the playoffs, sure, you're not winning a championship at Golden State. Now, you can say you're probably not winning a championship with the Lakers either. Your shot is better with the Lakers than it is with the Golden State Warriors.
I agree with you. And it's because of some of these young teams with all these assets in the Western Conference, not just San Antonio, but the team they just beat in Oklahoma City. And there's a possibility out there that OKC could make a trade for Giannis.
And we can talk about that coming up on the other side. We'll also get to rap news in the next segment as well. This is F&A on FSR.
We talk, and you love to listen.
Awesome. Love hearing you guys. Full of laughs, man. Love it.
Now you can look. Look at that.
Hollering James.
Yo, what's up? I'm Kelvin.
Look at them.
Tom Brady is the man. Didn't sound like it.
Don't turn away. Take a closer look. Fox Sports Radio. YouTube. Look.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
There are some shows you don't want to miss.
This is going to be fun.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Let's not overreact.
This is Covino and Rich.
When that POS fan stormed the court and they gave him camera time, which is odd, right? Most of the time, I find it funny when, people are running around the baseball field and making the security guys look like idiots. But in this high-stakes moment, it really rubbed me the wrong way.
As you and I were saying earlier, it's not a June baseball game where it's like, man, you see the fan ran on Petco's.
And here's why, because, I felt
that.
like the Knicks had great momentum in that moment, and all of a sudden, like, everything slows down and stops. You're like, oh, no. Don't let this fan storming the court be where everything turns around. And maybe Spurs feel like, man, we could have caught momentum if that didn't happen. That can't happen in the NBA Finals. That rubbed me the wrong way, too. That stood out. That fan, I think they gave him too much camera time. Security should have pile drive that kid. And that should not – think of where the mindset is. These kids are doing it for Instagram likes. They deserve karate kicks for that.
It's such a confined space, and the game was going. So I think like they couldn't help but show it because it was like he just ran out there. It was just so sudden.
Yeah, I don't think
we don't encourage.
But you know how there's always like turning points when the end of the season DVD comes out, like, oh, and then the cat showed up and everything flipped upside down. I was hoping that wasn't like some weird moment.
It was in late July when a squirrel ran across Wrigley.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, the fan.
Imagine the fan. Imagine the momentum totally shifted.
I thought it was going to, man. It felt like that was a weird moment of the night.
I'm reading a lot of our feedback, and
hey, this is Cheech and this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich. So listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
You got to be consistent.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mike check. Listen, I'd love him to stay in Chicago and be built in Arlington Heights. I mean, literally, I feel like I could walk there. It's a 10-minute drive, so I'd love it. Hammond, Indiana is right over the border. And for a lot of, this happens all the time. States compete against each other all the time. Indiana's being aggressive. Good for them. I'd love to talk to their governor. Come on the show. I think the McCaskies are like, we tried. We negotiated. We got a better deal. I mean, both New York teams play at MetLife. That's in like the Izod Center. Ugh, that's not very nice. That's not very. I guarantee you, the Hammond area, the people on the south side of Chicago, it's a 50-minute drive from where I'm sitting right now. So the Bears are, Soldier Field in South Chicago. We're going to move down to Hammond, Indiana. It's right across the border. It's not that big of a deal.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Wow. Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
So here it is. Jared Verse is now a member of the Cleveland Browns following the trade. He spoke yesterday for the first time since becoming a Cleveland Brown.
I was upset for a good little bit of time, but when you're an athlete, you understand the nature of business.
You know what? Probably going to see a payday because of all this.
I think the tough thing for Jared Verse is the version of the defense that we saw last year that allowed Myles Garrett to excel isn't going to be that version this year. Yes, you got same personnel or similar personnel, but Jim Schwartz isn't there anymore.
He is a fine football player, and he will make their team, at that position. He'll solidify the position. My question is, can Rutenberg put together a defensive scheme that is good, and can Monken bring to the table offense?
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox. 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. We're for you. We're here for you.
I can't let this audience down.
That's why we're giving back.
How wonderful. Bringing it to the entire nation.
Oh, yeah.
Keep this in mind.
We're giving you the best sports and entertainment on your platforms.
Right, because that's how we operate.
It's about the consistency. Every day. That's the truth.
Whether it's through your speakers, podcast, or social, we're giving back on Fox Sports Radio. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Hey, everybody. F&A, Cotton. F&A.
That's right, F&A on FSR, broadcasting live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. With the iHeart app, you can stream us wherever you are. Catch us and all of our Fox Sports Radio shows live 24/7 in the new and improved iHeart app. Just search Fox Sports Radio in the app to stream us live all day, every day. And be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as one of your presets in the iHeart app, so it always pops up at the top of your screen. Again, just search Fox Sports Radio in the iHeart app.
Before we get to rap news,
I'm chilling in the hood with the gangsters.
We do have one more story in NBA 3, and it pertains to OKC. And if they should blow it up because they lost in the Western Conference Finals in 7 games at home to San Antonio. And they do have the assets if they wanted to.
They do.
They could make a Godfather offer that really nobody else could match for Giannis Antetokounmpo,
So what's been floated out there? So they have the extension of Jalen Williams, which is going to start next year, along with also Chet Holmgren. His extension kicks in next year. You have a multitude of draft picks over these next few years, including 2, one in the lottery and one just outside the lottery coming up this offseason. So the talk is, if you want to make a run at Giannis, you have the ability to trade Chet and or Jalen Williams and or many of these draft picks to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo into the fold, and he can be your, for lack of a better term, Wemby stopper.
Now, he's 32.
Injury issues.
He's had them pile up over the last few years, but he still athletically looks to be pretty close to his prime when available.
And had a lot of time off the last third of the season too, by the way, whether it was on his own or not. But
I like Giannis. He might be the second best player in the league. He's in that range when he's healthy, when he's right. And he would make them better, of course, over Chet. But I don't think you should overreact to Chet Holmgren getting punked by Wemby when Chet's still just 24. We just saw Karl Anthony Towns, people gave up on him and thought he was a negative asset. And now look, he may be the finals MVP. There's some similarities there. OKC could probably just stay the course, not make that seismic of a move, hold on to a lot of their assets here, because they could still run it back and win next year with a little bit of health, a little bit of luck. J-Dub's feeling better. Like, they're fine. They don't even make it a drastic move.
Now, I'm sure if they were going to, they will make the push for Chet just from a fit standpoint. It will be hard to justify, although I'm sure you can make it work, having him play next to Shea and next to Giannis. If you're Milwaukee and you have your choice of either Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, which one are you building around? I would probably go with Chet because I think the upside is there. I think Jalen Williams, as good as he is, has kind of maxed out. I think this is probably as good as he's going to get, which is great. It's good. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
I think Chet still has another gear that he can get to.
He still has unicorn potential.
Right.
And I thought it was going to come to fruition in a bigger way this year. Maybe next year that'll happen with
Well,
Chet.
also remember he missed more than half of last year to start too. I mean, he's still relative. I mean, he it's as vested of a vet as it seems as he is at 24 because he came out so early. He's still very young in his development. So I think he has a great high upside and can still end up being one of the better players in the league. He just needs a little bit more time.
All right, let's get to it.
Do it.
Hi, Kurt Little with an MTV News Brief.
Stuff that the news high.
Slap a hole in the group Dub Shack, which touts the virtues of a machine that automatically smacks a wife or girlfriend into line.
A generation raised on
Now, even though we was going through our drama, I would never wish death on nobody, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't no coming back from that.
This is an artist called Eminem. It's spelled funky.
I went to prison just because he's a white guy.
Bill O'Reilly. Chris Brown is accused of assault and battery.
I love all the rappers today, but it's hard to defend this shit.
So I actually thought we were going to have some more Stranger Than Fiction news pertaining to animals when animals attack, because in Arizona this week, police had to use a tarp to catch a tranquilized bear that fell out of a tree. I'd be like, this is not protecting and serving my community. I did not sign up for this.
How high was the tree? Like, was the bear going to like break a limb or something if it fell out of the tree? Or
I didn't exactly watch the video. Yeah, they got plenty of cushion. Come on now.
I mean, what are we doing?
Then I thought I had a story about the most pathetic Guinness Book of World Record ever, where a man in Idaho set the record for keeping 5 balloons in the air for over a minute. I guess it's harder than it sounds, even with the helium in them, because they can go all over the place. You're trying to keep all of them in the air for over a minute.
I'm assuming they weren't all tied together like in one string or something.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like the movie Up.
Guinness has too much time on their hands.
Then I thought we had some geek news because the original Mario 2, which we know as the Lost Levels, turned 40.
Oh, this is the drop and acid game, right?
No, that's the one we got in the U.S. But in Japan, they got the Lost Levels. We got,
the acid trip.
The acid trip.
Got it.
The frog and no more Bowser.
Right.
But instead, we got some different video game news that bumps into the rap news category.
Oh, I know where you're going here. I did see this.
So Sega has a game coming out called Stranger Than Heaven in January of 2027, which I guess is a big deal because it's in a genre of Japanese crime drama games. Like, this is a series of games going on here. And it's a prequel to their Like a Dragon franchise, also known in Japanese as Yakuza, which are games based off of a genre of movies in Japan called Yakuza films, which is like their crime syndicate, gangster, Godfather, wise guy stuff.
I thought that Yakuza was definitely like a crime family.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense then.
All right.
So
That ain't gangster.
it is gangster. But the game is coming out next year, and it's already being hyped. And
I wonder why.
Partially because one of the characters that was revealed today. So they needed, in a gangster movie like this, I guess some gangster rappers.
That ain't gangster. Oh, so they didn't want like organized crime type of rappers.
No.
They didn't want Bugsy Siegel and people like that.
One of the characters in the game, Snoop Dogg.
Y'all don't love us.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Not the main character. That's a guy named Makoto Diato. Japanese American man who you control in this cinematic movie like crime drama game that's a third person view. You go through different cities and regions in Japan. But today it was announced in the new trailer for the game that not only is Snoop Dogg in it,
but
Tupac Shakur is going to be in it. Tupac is in the game.
Wondering why Pac was trending earlier today, and I clicked and looked up. I was like, I thought it was a joke at first, to be honest with you.
Same. It's called Stranger Than
30.
Tupac's in it, who Could be in heaven
Wait,
right
so
now.
So what system is this for?
It's going to be on PlayStation 5. It's going to be on Xbox as well. Tupac's estate, I'm guessing, is going to be paid for using his likeness and all that. Some aren't for that. But hey, if you like Tupac, he's coming out in a new game.
10.
Video games in my previous life, but now that Pac is involved, I got to jump back in. And
5 seconds.
This 5 is mine. All right, we'll talk super teams in the NFL and in pro sports coming up next. F&A on FSR.
It's here. King of the Hill and WD-40 brand present the limited edition King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can. Available now exclusively at the Home Depot, in-store and online. How many are you grabbing? One for you, one for your dad, and one for every Hank in your life. Get your King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can today before they're gone. Watch the new season of the Hulu original King of the Hill on July 20th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Available nationwide for a limited time or while supplies last. Availability varies by location and online.
What's up, fools? Main event Jay Uso here from the WWE. When it's just me between matches, it's day one-ish. And that means it's Chumba time. With hundreds of casino-style games and new titles arriving weekly, there's always something fresh to try at Chumba Casino. The daily boosts make it even more fun. And have me about to get them all during my downtime. Ready for a fun way to chill out and enjoy a few minutes for yourself? Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Let's begin.
Sometimes we like company. Other times, company is downright annoying. Let's listen to Stu Gatz and Company live. And you tell us where this show lies.
So you mentioned Caleb Williams could be in the top 5, and I know you've got an interview coming out with him, the new Madden cover. Yeah. My question is, did he cry, and does he cry a lot?
Yes.
Like you were talking to him. Did he weep, or was it just a little tear? How did that work?
So since we heard he's a big crybaby, that's what we've heard. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying those are the rumors.
That's
right,
I'm so great you're actually going down this lane because I was actually just talking about this, right?
Well, you're our source.
So first off, Caleb Williams, I mean, he was extremely happy. He's hit the most improbable, most unbelievable trifecta you could ever hit as a quarterback. He won the Heisman. He's on the cover of Madden, and he got a one-on-one interview with Chris Sims unbuttoned. I told him he can retire. He's done. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Yes. Everybody knows it now. All right. All right. The second thing I'll say is screw you, Mikey A, for that comment. All right. That's what I'll say about that.
We overheard your conversation. I mean,
okay, good. You did hear that because it does drive me crazy. Wemby cries, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's Wemby. He's the alien. He's so passionate. He wants to be in the finals. He's so happy." And then it's Caleb Williams cries, and it's like, "Oh, he's such a wimp loser. Oh my gosh, he can never lead a team." And it's just like that's what I hate about sports. It's why I got into the job. It's to correct stupid narratives like that. So I'm glad you're just playing with me and not real with that question.
Well, there's a reason, just quickly, since we're here, okay? I mean, Wemby's crying because he made it to the NBA Finals and did so ahead of schedule and beat Oklahoma City, and it means a lot to him. Caleb hasn't done anything.
To hear more from Stu Gatz and Company live, just podcast it by searching Stu Gatz and Company. And as always, you can listen live weekdays 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. And now, Steve Covino.
Oh, boy.
Rich Davis. This is Covino and Rich.
This NBA season is like From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn started off as like a robbery movie. Wasn't it like a bank robbery? I don't know. Something weird was going on.
Slow.
And all of a sudden, it turns into this vampire movie at a bar.
All of a sudden, Selma Hayek comes out.
This NBA season was the weakest NBA season I think I'd ever seen. Every day we came in here complaining about, man, how flat is the NBA?
That could arguably be your best analogy.
All of a sudden, it makes a hard right, and like the vampires come out, and you're like, this is the best season ever.
Selma Hayek's dancing.
Selma Hayek's there. Cheech Marin's there. And all of a sudden, it's so exciting. You're like, man, I didn't see this coming at all. It took such a turn from the weakest season to arguably the most fun in a long-ass time because of the the likability factor and the competitiveness we're seeing.
Covino and Rich, weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Why, hello there.
Two pros and a cup of Joe, putting the more in mornings.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Jonas Knox,
How you doing? I'm Jonas from Champion Roofers. I'm here to check out your leak.
Brady Quinn, LeVar Arrington.
Now that's a teammate right there.
Can you think of a better combination?
I can think whatever I want.
That's what I thought. It's two pros and a cup of Joe. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details. And here's what you need to know.
The Knicks lead the NBA Finals 2-0 after winning by a point at San Antonio, 105-104 on a free throw with about 10 seconds left. It came right after a turnover by Victor Wembanyama, who did have 29 points, but also missed the last shot. The Spurs as a team with 16 turnovers with 6 minutes to go. New York was up 14. Then the Spurs went on a 14-0 run to tie. But the Knicks will be hosting games 3 and 4 Monday and Wednesday, already up 2-0 in the best of 7. WNBA, Dallas won at LA 104-96 despite 27 points from the Sparks' Kelsey Plum. Broncos linebacker Jonathan Cooper and his girlfriend were each arrested for domestic violence. At the French Open, number 2 Alexander Zverev advanced to Sunday's final. The Dodgers still have yet to play an extra inning game this year. Freddie Freeman, home run, bottom of the ninth, 1-0 over the Angels. I'm Steve DeSager.
Let's begin, shall we?
FNA.
Let me tell you something.
Kevin Figures.
My entire take here is moot.
Adam Osley.
There's a conversation to be had.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. They're kicking the weekend off. It's FNA.
Point well taken.
Sound good?
That is so exciting.
Yeah! Live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's FNA. Kevin Figures and Adam Osley.
That's right. It is the final hour of FNA on FSR. At KFig1 is where you can find me on X. You can find Adam at Follow Adam A on X as well. Thanks to our guest, Mark Medina, joined us in the first hour talking NBA Finals. And Vinny Bonsignor of the California Post joined us to talk about his New York Knicks being up 2-0 in the NBA Finals, but most importantly about the Rams and the seismic move they made earlier this week to trade for Myles Garrett.
And we're going to jump off of that point and talk about some of the super teams in the past and what the Rams could look forward to. Because Vinny, I thought, put it very well.
He did.
They may be the most talented team. It guarantees nothing, even though he thinks they are the best team in the NFL with the physicality in that sport and an aging quarterback, even though he's still great. There are plenty of concerns. There are red flags. There are no guarantees in sports, especially in the NFL. And we've seen in the past, it comes down to chemistry. It comes down to buy-in, the right guys,
the health. I mean, or just things
being
that
available
are not, and I venture to say, just generally speaking, whenever someone is dubbed unbeatable or crowned as the champion or is an overwhelming favorite, I don't have the numbers on this, but I feel like the majority of the time they don't end up winning for any number of circumstances. Like the most recent super team that I could think of that won was probably the Golden State Warriors with KD and Steph.
That was probably the most overpowered super team maybe of our lifetime, honestly.
Yeah, and the only reason why they didn't win 3 in a row is because KD and Klay got hurt. I mean, I thoroughly believe they beat Toronto in the finals. If those guys are like, even if KD gets hurt and Klay is still available, I think they probably potentially still beat the Toronto Raptors in that series.
It's true, Drake. Your Raptors would have gotten beaten. They still went to 6 games. I have to say that Golden State Warriors team, that almost put a sour taste in my mouth of all super teams, because that was so extraordinary compared to anything else, because it's not just the level of star power you had. You had guys at their peak,
right? All
on the same team at the same time. It's not like the Houston Rockets of the late 90s with Charles Barkley, with Olajuwon, with Clyde Drexler, with Pippen in there for 1 year. This was, I think, Kevin Durant, when they got him, due to a spike in the salary cap,
There
a
was
30% spike, it was fluky.
which happened to be the year that he happened to be a free agent.
Right.
A lot of things happened at the timing was perfect for it all to happen.
They went out to the Hamptons to recruit him after losing a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Otherwise, I don't think Kevin Durant would have came if they had won that NBA Finals, but I don't know if we can put anything past him.
That would have been even more controversial. Can you imagine the Oklahoma City Thunder don't blow that 3-1 lead against OKC? They end up winning the championship, and he still ends up going to the Warriors. I couldn't see that happening. No,
I don't know. It's KD. The other day he was trying to hide from the paparazzi, and I couldn't see him there either.
The cool part is I don't think anybody would necessarily have categorized the team that lost to the Cavaliers in that finals that blew that 3-1 lead as a super team going into that year, but they do have the best regular season record in the history of the sport.
They had the perfect team, perfect system, right guys that fit right next to one another, and all the pieces fell into place.
But even if you wanted to, I don't know if I'd categorize them as a super team per se.
Well, they drafted those
guys. But self-inflicted wounds to a degree. I mean, if Draymond Green's not kicking guys in the nuts, they probably don't end up blowing that lead and they win the championship.
These nuts.
You know?
I still have no sympathy for them because he played 6 of the 7 games.
No, not at all.
And he had the game of his life in that game 7 where I think he had 32 points.
He got off to a very hot start. I do remember that.
Yeah, he had like 7 3-pointers in that game. They had their opportunities. I know he talks about, the momentum of the series completely changed then. It's like, hey, you had chances when you were out there, and LeBron was still getting 40.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some super teams specifically, but just generally, and I like to use when people talk about the Dodgers and complain about them spending all the money and buying all of these free agents. You know, money, all it does, it buys you, specifically in baseball, and every sport is different to a degree. It buys you a wider margin for error, but it doesn't buy you championships. So the Dodgers have had a top 3 payroll in 14 of the past 15 seasons. They have 2.5 championships.
Oh, you're only giving them a half for 2020?
If I'm being objective about it, I mean, come on.
Probably should be more like a third.
Well,
they play 50 games?
They played 60 games in that season, so I was trying to be generous to a certain degree. But I did run some numbers, and I found something interesting. So over the past 20 years, the team with the best odds to win the NBA championship wins the title 40% of the time. That's a pretty good clip.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for a sport like the NBA, where literally one player can flip you from being the worst team to a contender overnight.
You only got 5 guys on the court. Superstars weigh in heavily on those teams.
But so it's 40% is significant. It's not the majority of the time, but it's fairly often. Over that same time period, 20 years, the MLB favorite going into the season wins the title 25% of the time.
Okay.
In the NFL, the favorite going into the season, 15% of the time.
There's a real trend there. If you just go off of roster size, starting with the smallest roster with the NBA. So one person can have so much influence over your success. And then as you move along, you get to 29 guys in Major League Baseball and then 56 in the NFL. Your odds go down because they're more of team sports. And one guy can't have the same impact.
Right. And even if they did, even in the highest of numbers at 40%, that means 60% of the time, more often than not, the team that is favored to win the championship in the NBA does not do it.
Yeah.
You
always got to take the field.
Right. That's the thing, and so the majority of the time, if you are taking the field against the super team, you're going to end up coming out on top because this is not Madden or 2K where you can play franchise mode and turn injuries off,
and turn off the system when you lose.
Exactly. Hit the reset, but life happens. Guys get hurt. Guys get into trouble off the field. I mentioned Draymond Green. They get suspended. Personal tragedies like what happened to Dodger reliever Alex Vesia during the NLCS this past year where he and his wife unfortunately lost a child. These are things you can't necessarily anticipate. You obviously don't bake it into the odds going into the season. You can't anticipate bad things are going to happen. But you just have to know in the back of your mind that they could. Things almost never go chalk.
There's too much up in the air, like the guy from the Guinness Book of World Records that was juggling 5 balloons for 1 minute.
I can't believe it. It was like a Guinness Book of World Records for holding an ink pen in your mouth for the longest period of time. I don't know that for a fact, but I can almost guarantee you that it's more likely than not that's a thing.
I was so close to holding that record,
yeah, were you?
Kevin, but the big pen got a little too disgusting. It was the blue. This is something where if you're a Rams fan right now, as much as you should be elated that you got Myles Garrett, and you should be, he's coming off setting the all-time sack record with 23 last year with the Cleveland Browns.
Which is impressive for a team that was behind as much as they were.
Yeah. have some perspective, understand that, first of all, you're still in one of the best divisions in sports, I would say, not just in the NFL. Outside the Arizona Cardinals, there's 3 really good, really well-run teams in there. And then also the injury factor is just too high in the NFL to bank on anything being certain. Even Myles Garrett, he's 30 now.
Right.
He's still in his prime. Yes, he looks as good as ever. And on the Rams team, maybe he gets 25 sacks next season. Who knows? They're going to be up big in a lot of games. He can pin his ears back and go after the quarterback more than ever. You have to look at recent history in modern sports and how these super teams go, especially you talk about the NFL. What was the dream team with the Philadelphia Eagles and Vince Young? Now, maybe from the outside looking in, none of us really felt like they were a dream team.
That was ridiculous because they went out, they signed Nnamdi Asomugha, I know, away from the Raiders. And I forget the other player. I'll find. And Vince Young was a backup quarterback.
It's a Vic,
so
right?
for him of all people to say, "Oh, we're a dream team," it's like, you're a backup. With all due respect, why are you saying anything?
If you're playing, we're not a dream team. Actually,
exactly. That's exactly what they don't want.
I don't remember who were the other guys. Did they have Shady McCoy at running back?
I don't know if
time?
Shady was there quite yet.
Was it Chip Kelly as the head coach of that team?
Ooh, so that was 2011. That might have been Andy's last year, I believe.
Okay. Last hurrah to not win the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, okay. So it was the 2011 Eagles. So you had Vic, you did have Shady McCoy, Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin were both there. So you had some really good talent on the offensive end. I mentioned they had Nnamdi Asomugha. It was a good team, but they ended up missing the playoffs. They went 8-8 that year.
Well, as good as that talent is,
and they were never a dream team, by the way.
No, it wasn't close to that. Like, you can just look at the NBA Finals, and you have to throw in the chemistry factor.
Absolutely.
I thought Charles Barkley actually made a good point earlier.
I'm a dumbass.
Stop the presses.
No, it actually happened. It wasn't during the halftime show where he and Shaq just said the same thing over and over again. Barkley saying, Wemby's in shock. Shaq saying, he needs to play with more energy, instead of like actually going through some X's and O's of how New York is making him being in shock.
That's what Kenny's there for. They don't have to down.
Yeah, well, he didn't do a damn thing during the halftime show. I'll tell you that.
Dominate my ass.
That was for DeAndre Ayton. But
Dominate my ass.
Call himself dominating. But he said this Knicks team reminds him of the 2004 Detroit Pistons. And I see it. It's a more modern version of that. Yeah, whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And while you think of Cat and Brunson as a big 1-2 punch, well, they haven't put up crazy numbers. Like, they're not averaging 35 in the series or anything like that. They're not that top heavy.
Right.
But they lengthen out the lineup. Their roster is so reliable. The end of the third quarter, where they have Mikal Bridges and McBride out. Mikal was the only starter that was out there to end that third quarter. Mm-hmm. And they went from a 4-point lead to a 9-point lead before the quarter was over. They may have won the game right there. And it was Mikal Bridges with backups and Shamet and McBride out there and other guys, Mitchell Robinson, finding ways to contribute. They didn't have Brunson and they didn't have Cat out there. And the Pistons were like that in some way. And they played so well together and they played so hard and they were just in sync. Like, that to me, you don't want to call them a super team because they may not have the elite talent, but
you got guys who know
coalesce.
Yeah, the old cliche of they star in their roles.
Right.
Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. There's not a tug of war as whose team is it? The old Shaq and Kobe, is it my team or is it his team? And egos getting involved. It's just like
perfectly defined roles.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. The old Bill Belichick, I do my job. You do your job. And you find a way to get positive results. And that's why, yes, the easy competition in the Eastern Conference, call it for it, whatever it is, but they're steamrolling everybody. They've won 13 straight games. Well, it's impressive.
You think of the Heatles and the Miami Heat.
They lost their first final series.
They lost to Dallas, but part of their issue was they had talent, but they had overlapping talent.
Right.
Where both Dwayne Wade and LeBron James both needed the ball in their hands a ton to be effective out there. Yep. They weren't a perfectly assembled team. They just overwhelmed you with talent eventually, winning the next two after losing in 2011.
Right.
But there are other teams out there that build different ways that you wouldn't consider being a super team or anything like that, but they're super powered. They form Captain Planet when their powers combine. Yeah. Like, they become something else. They raise each other's level of play so much that you get more out of the guy next to you because what you bring is unique, what he brings is unique, and all of it is necessary in order to win. The Rams, they may have the best of both worlds. I don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah, they may have found the cheat code. And to a certain degree, if you want to go back to the 2007 Patriots, I think to a degree they had that. They literally just lost the last game on their schedule, and a fluky play where the guy catches a ball and pins it against his helmet, and 7 times out of 10 or whatever, that play gets called dead, and Eli Manning gets sacked. Now I realize they were a high-scoring offense and they got held down in that Super Bowl, what have you. But I mean, they were perfect. They had a dominant defense. They had a great offense. They could run the ball. They can throw the ball. They was pretty much unstoppable that entire season.
Yeah, they got the last gasp of Randy Moss's prime that year, and they put together some historical records, he and Tom Brady. That team, to me, going in, we did feel like that was a super team because Randy Moss was being held back by being a Raider at that time.
Right.
And there was that report that he ran a 4.2 40 in front of Bill Belichick or something like that when they were working him out. That's one of those teams that, obviously in a team game like that, it's not just about the star power. They did come together. They should have had the perfect season, most likely. They beat up on that New York team in the regular season. I think the last game of the regular season.
It was either the final game or it was the final game of the regular season. Yes, it was.
And Randy Moss caught that touchdown to pass Jerry Rice with 23?
Mm-hmm.
That team, when super teams fail, people want to point and say, this is why it doesn't work.
Oh, just a super team model in general.
Super team model in general.
Yeah.
But the truth is that was pretty unique for them to lose in the fashion they did, and maybe was more of the exception than the rule. Even though you're right, the majority of times the favorites don't win.
Yeah.
But they also have the highest percentage, at least, of getting there. And
Generally,
more of those teams end up winning.
And there was no real concrete reason as to why there wasn't a major injury that they suffered or anything. They obviously didn't lose momentum towards the end of the season because they were undefeated. I do think a couple of their games in the postseason were a little closer than people probably would have hoped. I think they had the AFC Championship game against the Chargers. And if I remember correctly, LaDainian Tomlinson got hurt in the first half, didn't play the entire second half, and they only won by 10. So maybe there were some leaks there.
Losers.
To a degree, only by 10.
You
But when you're averaging 40 points a game in the regular season and holding teams to 17 or whatever you're doing, So maybe the writing on the wall was there a little bit. But I remember the Kobe Shaq Lakers when they signed Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
Lakers Reloaded was the mantra after they lost when going for the 4-peat the year before to San Antonio.
Now, there was an extra layer in there. That was the year that Kobe Bryant had the rape trial, and he was flying back and forth. I mean, you'd never be able to do this today, where he'd come in the second half of games because he was flying back from a court trial in Denver.
Jerry Buss flying him out.
There's no way that he'd be able to do that now, but he did it then. And then towards the end of the regular season, Karl Malone gets injured. Obviously, there was talk the entire season as to whether or not Shaq was leaving or Kobe was leaving. They weathered through all of that drama and made it to the finals before they got run off the floor by that Detroit Pistons team you were just talking about.
And that type of super team's constructed differently because you had an aging Gary Payton and Karl Malone. What was Malone, 39 or 40?
He might have been 40.
Gary Payton might have been 35, 36, something like that. And he would come through a couple of years later with a big shot for the Miami Heat to eventually win a championship against Dallas in 06. But that, to me, is more of the norm, where you're getting some guys that are all-time greats that are later in their career trying to hold on in chip chase, so to speak. And that's I am more intrigued by that type of stuff, which is why I'd be interested in seeing LeBron next to Steph Curry. Because while you could say, yeah, I agree with you, they have less of a chance to win than the Los Angeles Lakers, most likely. But those two guys being on the same page together and being on the same team for once, I think that would be fascinating. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
And you know what the motivation is.
As long as it doesn't, look, if those guys are left standing, everything is always health is relative, sure. But when you're aging the way they are, Steph missed as much time as he missed this year. LeBron was absolutely amazing and didn't really miss. He missed the start of the season, and once he got back, he was pretty much back and didn't miss a lot of time after that. you're just kind of playing roulette when you have a roster that's that old and you're that heavily reliant. Because even if you want to draw the parallel to the Shaq and Kobe Lakers with Malone and Peyton, I mean, Kobe was in his prime, or you can even argue he hadn't even hit his prime at that point yet. He was still young and was carrying the team.
Shaq was still in his prime.
Shaq was still in his prime, even though he wasn't in the best shape of his life. He can still do his thing. So there wasn't a heavy burden on a 41-year-old and a 39-year-old or whatever Steph is going to be by the start of the next season. And then Jimmy Butler coming off a devastating injury, and I think he's 36, if I believe correctly.
Yeah.
That's a heavy burden on a lot of older guys with a large injury history.
Older guy coming off an ACL like that, I wouldn't put a ton into him having a lot of success.
Oh, my knee!
And that's also a trade piece for them. If they go out and make a big move because of his salary, it's an expiring contract basically for $60 million. You can make a lot of money match if they don't go the LeBron route.
Right.
They try to circle back to Giannis. But yeah, it seems like in the NBA over the last couple of years, at least, they're getting away from having 3 stars on teams because of the new CBA, because trying to make that money work, it's much more difficult to fill out the rest of the roster. And you look at the depth with even San Antonio being down 2-0, like they have depth. They have a lot of young guys. They're not as experienced. Obviously, we mentioned the New York Knicks, but then last season, we'll see if Indiana, when they get Halliburton back, can make another run at it. And they were just coming at you in waves. Same with OKC. They ended up not having quite enough because of J-Dub's injury to get above San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. But there's more talent spread around instead of as many top-heavy teams that we used to see, where it was big 3 here, big 3 there. Who's going to be able to combat the Heatles? Now it's the Golden State Warriors. Who's going to get above that? And I appreciate that. I like the talent a little bit more spread out across the board for more teams to have chances. I don't know if that means I'm a parity merchant like Adam Silver or anything like that.
Yeah, we can maybe get into that a little bit deeper coming into the next segment, because this is going to be the 7th straight year we're going to have a new NBA champion and not a back-to-back champion.
Market 8.
Yeah, market 8, exactly.
8-year-olds, dude.
You guys want to chime in at 877-99 on Fox when it comes to super teams. Can you think of a super team? Whether your favorite team or a team that beat your favorite team or a team that your favorite team defeated. Talking about super teams, everybody thinks it's a foregone conclusion that the Rams are going to win.
It's not.
We gave you a couple of examples of super teams that didn't win. What is a super team example from your perspective that did not win? And do you think the Rams are just going to run roughshod over the NFC, or do you think that there's a chance they can get knocked off by Seattle or somebody else? 877-99 on Fox. We'll have your calls coming up next. F&A on FSR.
We covered free agency.
A brand new quarterback. Kyler Murray is the guy.
Yeah. We did the NFL draft.
His ceiling says he does have the potential to have an impact.
And we're not done.
Big goings on in the NFL.
It's the NFL. We are never done. We are Fox Sports Radio.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
Drew McIntyre here from WWE. Wielding the Claymore can be a life of chaos. When I'm not dominating in the ring, Chumba Casino is how this warrior takes a wee break. With hundreds of online social games and new weekly releases, there's always something fresh to try. And those daily boosts, next level. Even my free time feels like Valhalla. So when life feels like a battle, kick up your feet, have some fun, and let's chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. It's here. King of the Hill and WD-40 brand present the limited edition King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can. Available now exclusively at the Home Depot, in-store and online. How many are you grabbing? One for you, one for your dad, and one for every Hank in your life. Get your King of the Hill WD-40 Collector's Can today before they're gone. Watch the new season of the Hulu original King of the Hill on July 20th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Available nationwide for a limited time or while supplies last. Availability varies by location and online.
My dad passed away unexpectedly.
D-Brock from Miami wants to talk super teams.
Very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after
D-Brock from Miami.
able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You
Holler in.
Get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS,
How many championships did the Yankees basically buy?
tax debt, powerful tax assistance programs that can save.
Because Mr. Steinbrenner, I mean, he put together a bunch of teams that they became the empire.
Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best option.
The last one?
The last one.
Problem.
Okay.
Experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-6.
When they got A-Rod, that caused a problem because he should have been a shortstop, but they made him play third. So that became the problem, right?
He's Steve Covino.
Kick it.
He's Rich Davis.
I thought of like the worst idea possible.
It's Covino and Rich.
We are in a serious situation here.
They're dropping knowledge.
Everything about it is stupid.
And names.
We did an interview with Jay-Z, and Covino's like, yo, quick pick. And Jay's like, no. He's like, no.
What up, Covino and Rich?
It's Covino and Rich.
Bringing it to the entire nation.
Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m.
It was like becoming the third option. I'm kidding.
And now, here's a little something that you missed from the...
I'm the greatest player, but I can't be the third.
Mashed potatoes, just add some water.
Where are you at on James Dolan ignoring the commissioner, Adam Silver, and Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, both with a peace offer to welcome Charles Oakley back to MS?
So they just accused Steinbrenner of opening his wallet to basically put a team together.
Man, now the tip off here, it's obviously awkward, right? That's the first thought. It's awkward. Kind of like a fart in an elevator. Very awkward, right? You look at who did it. Okay, yeah, I guess. How bad did it smell? Here's the issue, though. On this one, the fart in the elevator, Dolan created the elevator. James Dolan is a dingleberry. He's a Mama Luke and all those things. And obviously, he should not have had Charles Oakley hogtied and carried out of Madison Square Garden by a bunch of MSG goon security guards. Nevertheless, I actually get.
That's who I think about when they talk about super teams. Yeah. There's Mr. Steinbrenner. His wallet made it happen, in a sense.
I know is still suing Dolan and MSG. So the etiquette is rather simple. If a guy is suing you, he's not going to come to your arena. It's why I'm still amazed that Brian Flores, who's in an open lawsuit against the NFL, is the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Like, it's always been, my entire life, the etiquette has been the decorum. If you're in a lawsuit, you're not welcome at the party you're suing. Like, to me, that's not drama. That's just legal hygiene. And so
to get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
3, 2, 1.
It's Stu Gotts.
Yes.
And he Gotts Company.
I love that.
Stu Gotts and Company. Live.
That's what he's doing. Unapologetic.
And they're blending sports.
Listen, kicking's an individual sport.
With whatever they want.
I once went to 11 consecutive dead shows at Madison Square Garden.
Sometimes the lights off.
It's Stu Gotts and Company live. Listen weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Fox Sports Radio. Are you using the TalkBack feature on the iHeartRadio app? It's the button that looks like a microphone which allows you to talk to us. Press it, record your message, and fire it off.
Rose Bowl game.
It's simple and intuitive.
Broadcast on radio.
On second thought, perhaps some people are confusing it with a smart speaker prompt.
Texas and Arizona.
Pretty sure that's what's happening.
Texas and Arizona football game.
Fox Sports Radio is at your fingertips on the iHeartRadio app. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details.
Lions are lighting up. I guess it's a good subject.
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
Back in F&A on FSR from the Fox Sports Radio studios. If you missed any of today's show, you want to catch the podcast, just search Fox Sports Radio wherever you get your podcast. Right after the show, today's podcast will be posted. Be sure to follow the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and you can even provide a review. Again, just search Fox Sports Radio wherever you get your podcast. Follow the feed, and you'll find today's full show posted right after we get off of the air.
877-99 on Fox is the phone number. We're talking super teams after the Rams were able to get Myles Garrett to help him get over the top this time around, possibly in the NFC. But we got D-Brock calling in from Florida, not Debo. D-Brock?
D-Block from Miami. Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey,
my super team. My super team from back in the day, though, really was the Chicago Bulls when they got Dennis Rodman. We had Tony Kukoc too, even though the money it wasn't like now, but it was a super team. And then if you remember, also Houston tried to get Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley to make a super team, but it didn't work out. But have a good Saturday. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, D-Brock. Yeah, we mentioned that Houston Rockets earlier in the segment. But yeah, I don't know if anybody necessarily categorized the Bulls as a super team, but I mean, you have 3 Hall of Famers.
They should be.
I mean, they should.
They should.
Because for as much credit as Michael, obviously one of the greatest players, 1-2 with LeBron, AB, whatever you want to say. Scottie Pippen, certainly one of the best defensive players of all time, and Dennis Rodman, one of the best defensive players of all. If Dennis Rodman is not in there to D up on Karl Malone, is that series different?
I think so.
And do they potentially lose at least one of those series against Utah?
After they lost in 95 to the Orlando Magic when Jordan came back, and I don't want to hear this, Jordan just got back, he wasn't the same guy. Look at his playoff averages.
He was fine.
In 95. He was averaging 32 points per game. He was efficient. He was bad at times at the end of games. He had some bad turnovers. The Nick Anderson steal, of course, in that series. But after they lost in 6 to Orlando, Jordan talked about the difference was Horace Grant.
Yep.
They lost Horace Grant to the Orlando Magic from the time Jordan retired the first time and then came back. And he was big on getting Dennis Rodman. They needed somebody else there. And the only reason people don't think of it like a super team is because the Jordashians, I think is what you call them, the Jordan disciples.
Right.
They don't want you to think it was a super team or that he had the best team out there. They want to make it seem like, no, Jordan was the biggest reason they went 72-10. And look, of course, he's the biggest reason, but they definitely at that time, considering the lack of player movement, that was a super team for that particular era. It doesn't compare to super teams later on. But yes, at that time, they were overpowered, that Bulls team.
I mean, they essentially had a big 3. Rodman wasn't giving you anything offensively, but he was so dominant on the defensive end, it made things so much easier for them.
Well, the other thing was you had 6 expansion teams from 1988 to, I think, 1995.
A lot of baked-in wins.
And it watered down the league because the international game isn't what it is today, where 30% of the NBA is international players. Back then, go look at the Dream Team and who they had to go through in 92. There were like 5 total NBA players they played at the Olympics. This last time around in 2024, there was over 40 NBA players, I believe, at the Olympics. The level of competition was just so much higher because the talent pool has increased, partially because of Michael Jordan and growing the game and making it more international and guys playing basketball that otherwise wouldn't have because they were inspired by him.
Right.
But make no mistake about it, the Bulls were stacked.
Your fellow Panther fan, Gunnar Thomas, hits us up on X. He says the 2015 Panthers, now that team did go 15-1 and make it to the Super Bowl. I do not know if anybody necessarily thought they were a super team coming into that season. They just had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, that's how you should grade these things. Going in, you talked about betting odds and who were the favorites. I don't remember going into that season as a Carolina Panther fan thinking, oh, we should be the favorites to win it or to come out of the NFC or anything like that. Cam had a magical year. He was the MVP. He was unbelievable. Christian McCaffrey, of course, a younger player at that time, was at probably his peak, you could say.
Kuechly was dominating.
Kuechly was amazing. The defense was really good. They never should have lost that game to the Denver Broncos, but Cam Newton didn't want to jump on the ball that was on the ground.
Yeah, well, Cam Newton didn't want to jump on the ground and injure his shoulder when they were playing against Peyton Manning, who basically didn't have a shoulder, and they still found a way to win. But that game, seeing Gunnar's tweet reminded me of the Denver Broncos. And when they initially traded for Peyton Manning and his shoulder was fine, and they had a dominant team. I don't know if they were necessarily considered a quote-unquote dream team, but that defense was stacked. That offense was stacked. Well, they were phenomenal and dominated the entire regular season until they got to the Super Bowl and got waxed by Seattle.
Was the first year the Super Bowl?
I believe so,
Or
yes.
was the first year against Baltimore when they lost after having that? Did Peyton Manning throw for 60 touchdowns that year? He had a 7-touchdown game. And then it was, who was it? Raheem Moore, the safety.
Misread a play, and the Jacoby Jones got behind him for a touchdown.
With the Joe Flacco, and they had that magical run to the Super Bowl. But either way, yeah, I do think when he came over, it felt like all they needed was the quarterback after going through Tim Tebow, and John Elway made sure to go out there and get Peyton Manning.
Yeah, so that was his second season with the Broncos. They went 13-3, and that's when they lost that Super Bowl to the Seattle Seahawks, which I believe they were favored in that game. That was a young Russell Wilson. Like, nobody thought – I think most people thought the Super Bowl might not be competitive.
Oh, it wasn't.
And it wasn't. Legion of Boom was good, but people were like, this Bronco offense is so dominant, they won't be able to do anything. What was it?
Game over, man. It's game over.
43-8 or something like that?
It was one of the biggest ass kickings you've ever seen. I remember Peyton Manning closing his eyes, throwing a football as he's being tackled. It's one of the indelible images from that game. It was brutal. We got a phone call here.
Okay.
Randy from Florida wants to weigh in on super teams in light of the Rams getting Myles Garrett. Randy, what's up? We're big in Florida.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking the call. I'll try to make it quick. I'm getting old. I'm going to be a senior citizen next year. I'll be 55 in February. But I remember those 80s Lakers, man. I mean, Kareem down in the post, Worthy down in the post, Michael Cooper, Magic, Byron Scott.
Michael
Brandon,
Thompson.
I mean, Michael Thompson. Well, I was mad at him because he was coming for Kareem as Kareem was getting old. But, that's my super team. That's all I have. Thanks.
It's funny, Randy. Yeah. Like, nobody talks about how Magic comes into the league and gets drafted by a team that has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, arguably the greatest player of all time. He was born on third base a little bit, as much as I love Magic.
A little bit.
not
to take away from Magic, and not to say that he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer and a great player anyway.
Of course. I think he's one of the greatest floor raisers you could have with how much better he makes everybody around
And
him.
to that end, a few years later, here comes James Worthy, the first overall pick in the draft, on some fluky trade that they made with the Jazz a few years earlier or something.
Yeah, like Jerry West cooked, obviously. Front office legend as well as player legend,
along with Bill Sharman, who was the general manager, and Jerry was his assistant, but they were both in charge of the front office at that point.
I just feel like it's very glossed over how Magic came into the league and immediately got to one of the best teams roster wise. Norm Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we had beef with.
Yeah,
and got shipped out later.
Man, I miss my favorite show, Winning Time. If we only could have got a few more seasons. HBO, come on.
I didn't understand.
I loved it. It was so well done. I was listening to the intro rap song for that show recently, just driving through Los Angeles with a buddy.
I'm chilling in the hood with the gangsters.
It wasn't like that. That show was great, and it deserved it. The fact that it's called Winning Time and you never even saw the Lakers win in that show tells you how quickly it ended.
Yeah, they hadn't gotten to it yet,
So that's another team. The Boston Celtics, they made that crazy trade to end up with McHale and Chief.
Right.
They got out of a trade with Red Auerbach swindling somebody.
Yeah, well, that's what he did.
With the cigar in hand.
That was you had a stretch there from the 8. And since, to talk a little bit, because we mentioned talking about the NBA and parity and not having repeat champions, there is an element of, I do like parity, but only to a certain degree.
Yeah, you're
right.
right.
I don't know if I want to have a brand new champion every single year for 7 straight years, or not have a repeat conference champion for like 9 straight years or whatever it's been. Like back then, you had a rotation of teams. Like in the 80s, it was the Lakers, and every now and then the Rockets came up and got them a couple of times in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
In the Eastern Conference, it was pretty much a heavy rotation of the Celtics and the Pistons, and you throw in one or two others here and there.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, the 76ers.
Yeah.
So it was parity in that it was any one of these 3 or 4 teams in a given year that you knew would probably win.
Well, and it brought that familiarity to those teams. You knew them so well, love them or hate them. You felt some type of way as a fan.
And it built rivalries because those teams are going to play each other in big series in the postseason every single year.
And there were less teams back then too, so maybe that helps. But yeah, I get that part of it, and we're heading towards 8 straight different NBA champions. The last repeat we had was in 2018. Yeah, the Warriors going back to back with Kevin Durant. And then they go back there and then lose. And you mentioned it earlier with the injuries in 2019 to Toronto. So since Toronto won in 2019, we've had new guys every year winning it. This year, no different. Mark brought up a really interesting franchise that we probably should have mentioned earlier. Mark, who you think about with super teams?
I was thinking about the former evil empire, the Yankees. I thought back in the day of Mr. Steinbrenner, his wallet played a big part in building the Yankees, and they were winning a lot at a certain time. I thought based on what he would spend to get players.
He spent a lot of money. He did not win a lot of championships. You know,
he didn't spend it well.
Those dominant run they had at the end of the 90s and into 2000. Those teams, people thought, like, oh, Steinbrenner bought those championships back then. He really didn't. Go back and look at those rosters. Those are homegrown guys. That was Jeter and Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams.
Brocious.
Scott Brocious. It was a bunch of homegrown dudes. It was not them going out. It was
Duque.
After that run, yeah, they went out and started signing all these guys. You know, Jason Giambis and Gary Sheffields. And when they started star chasing, ironically enough, that's when they stopped winning. You know, it took them until from 2000 till 1990 or 2001 to 1999, or excuse me, 2009 to win their next championship.
Right. They got to a couple where they lost to obviously Arizona and Luis Gonzalez in 01.
Miami got them.
And then, in 03 against the Marlins, they got there, but they came up short with those teams.
You know, they blew the 3-0 lead infamously against the Red Sox in 2004.
Or the bats went completely cold, and they had Giambi on that team too.
A-Rod,
Sheffield, A-Rod,
Posada.
Jeter. Yeah.
Well, was that the series where the infamous A-Rod was running to first base and he knocked the ball out of the pitcher's hand who was trying to cover first?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
And he and Jason Varitek got into it, I think, earlier maybe in the season.
Oh, yeah.
There was a real bad – that's the ultimate rivalry to me. Yankees, Red Sox. As much as I love Giants, Dodgers on the West Coast, they played each other once in the playoffs and it happened in 2021.
You can't really have – it's not a rivalry unless you play really, really meaningful games. You know, especially in the postseason.
That's a good one, Mark. The Yankees cannot be looked because that's an example of how things can work against you no matter how much money you spend.
Could the Giants be in that category a little bit because they were winning at a certain time because they were getting players and pitchers to build their team and put it together for a couple of good wins?
I feel like they built it pretty organically, though. I mean, we're talking to the Giants fan over here, Adam, who can speak to it more than anybody, but I don't know if they were out there throwing out gobs of money to people.
They might have been top 10 in payroll, but probably not top 5 during those years. And it was Lincecum, Matt Cain, Bumgarner, all homegrown guys.
Buster.
And it's not like they went out and got some crazy bats or anything
Crawford.
like that.
It was really just a team of, Pence, I think, may have been a guy they traded for, but he was a scrapper. It was like a team full of scrapper guys. It wasn't no superstar, big bomber types.
Aubrey Huff
right
in there. Yeah. They had the hitter from who was a one-time All-Star.
Pablo Sandoval, was he part of those championship runs? One or two of them?
He was the panda in there looking big. He came up huge. I think he hit 3 bombs. He hit 2 or 3 bombs off of Verlander in the 2012 World Series. He might have been the MVP of that one.
He was definitely the MVP of one of them.
They had what's his name? Who was the MVP of the World Series in '97 with the Marlins? Edgar Renteria was their World Series MVP in the first one in 2010 against Texas.
Right.
So they kind of were more patchwork. It was just dominating pitching. They were unbelievable, but those were mostly homegrown.
Yeah. But I feel like generally speaking, that's how you build a contender. It's kind of, to a certain degree, the Dodger model. Yes, you have the money to go out and bring in who you want to bring in, but a lot of the core of your team are guys that you cultivated through your system or traded for, or found on the scrap heap like Max Muncy or what have you.
Oh, yeah. Freddie.
Freddie,
Mookie, Ohtani.
Yeah.
All homegrown.
Yeah. Will Smith, Clayton Kershaw. Roki Sasaki was big for them last year. I mean, there's probably a healthy mix of all of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Dodgers are the best of both worlds. They scout well, they draft well, and they find the perfect free agents that fit their system.
Now, coming up next, we could have an end of an era, and a marquee franchise is going to be greatly affected in the NFL. We'll talk about that coming up next. Stephen A. on FSR.
Some players are built for these moments.
Wemby, rising right wing three. We win!
And some players can't get enough.
Jam a three-pointer for the tie. He got it!
It's the NBA Finals.
Man, I feel just like a rock star.
Your finals moments start here on Fox Sports Radio.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
Let's go! You must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. We're breaking this down.
Every day I'm shuffling.
We had a conversation about Rob was starting basically saying one thing we agree on, we don't often agree, is that James Dolan has been a ridiculous owner and some of the stunts that he's made over the last 20 years. You brought up Charles Oakley being one. We all remember that scene, him pushing security. And
they threw him out.
Threw him out, kicked him out. He hasn't been back since. And so now the conversation's become, and this was back in, he was arrested with that altercation back in 2017. So now the decision was made, of course, by James Dolan, who apparently is refusing him to come in. He won't let him come even current day as they're in the first finals appearance in 99.
John from Florida wants to talk about the A's 72-74.
They're saying, look, we got to rectify this. And they've gone as far as to even include Adam Silver and Michael Jordan, who we know is, if you don't know, he's one of Oakley's best friends since
100%
Bulls back in the 80s. That's been his guy. He was like
John from Florida.
So they've tried to broker some peace deals, Rob. They tried to figure it out with James Dolan, but Jordan wasn't successful. Adam,
So the only one's up right now. They just got up.
it's still he's banned for life, and that's just what they're saying.
I'm going to say this too. If you remember, and you could, Google it yourself, Spike had an incident too with Dolan and the Madison Square Garden. Don't you remember?
Had, his normal VIP route that technically you're not supposed to take.
Players come in that way, but he used to come in through that same.
And everybody knows who that is and who's been doing it. And then he blocked him. And I told you another thing that makes me just drive me crazy about James Dolan. So if you're literally
to get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
When Dan announced lifetime bans for certain San Antonio fans, Izzy was outraged.
Talk about big talk. There's no way you can keep up a lifetime ban. So this guy that ran on the court, he's probably in his 20s. You're telling me 50 years from now, when this guy wants to go to a Spurs game, that ban is still going to be on? You know how many crazy things are going to happen in this world over the next 50 years? And he's going to go to a Spurs game and say, no, you tried to take a selfie one time. Get out of here. This guy's going to go to another game, lifetime ban. Get out of here.
Right, but you have him going to games when he's 70-something, which I agree with you on. He'll look different. No one's going to know. But I think he'll probably end up going to a game when he's like 30-something. I don't think a lifetime. I think he can show up tomorrow night and get into the game.
All right, 1-0 me.
Stu Gatz and Company live is right here. Weekdays, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
We begin
with the Ben Maller Show.
Handle with care. Can the Yankees survive the mid-season stretch? We're not just talking about a brief stretch. We're talking about 2 or 3 months at least without Aaron Judge in the middle of everything the Yankees do. So now they should be used to it by now, as we've documented here. It is an annual event. So you figure the players just mark it on their phones, on the calendar app, say, okay, this is about sometime around June or July, he's going to get hurt. Aaron Judge going snap, crackle, pop. It happens. The corporate attitude, And they all say the same bull crap. Next man up, blame Bill Belichick for that. Like, I wouldn't bet the family jewels on it. You take Judge out of that Yankee lineup, and it's Hamlet without the prince. And that Broadway show would not last very long.
Ben Maller, weeknights, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio.
Whoa.
Why, hello there.
You're listening all day. You're listening all night. Now, you can watch us on YouTube. That's right. On Instagram and X. Watch us yell.
Do it. I'm wrong. It makes me sick.
Watch us sing.
One shining moment. Somebody. Top goes and tease bets and Joe Montana.
Watch us dominate.
I listen to you guys every day.
And that's kind of a big deal.
We are Fox Sports Radio.
Good stuff.
Whoa! And that's it.
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details.
You take your ass home.
F&A, Cotton. F&A.
Not going home yet. It's F&A on Fox Sports Radio. I'm Adam Mosley. He's Kevin Figures. For the best pregame show every weekend, be sure to tune in to Fox Sports Radio's Countdown, presented by BetMGM, every Saturday and Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific. We will count you down to all the biggest games of the weekend. Tune in to Countdown, presented by BetMGM, every Saturday and Sunday morning right here on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeart app.
Final segment of F&A on FSR. We have John in Florida that wants to chime in on our super team discussion. John, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you taking my call. Yeah, the 72 to 74 A's. If it hadn't been for Charlie Finley breaking that team up, they'd have probably won a couple more world championships. I mean, they had Joe Rudy, Mike Tennis, Reggie Jackson, a great pitching staff. Burt Campanera, who drove pitchers crazy. You got Pat Dobson, Vita Blue, and then you got Raleigh Fingers coming out of the bullpen. I mean, who could beat that team if they'd have kept it together?
Yeah, very stacked. That's a great point. Great point, John.
I recognize at least three of those guys
for the call.
Yeah,
and obviously things were different back then, than they are now when it comes to their free agency and keeping teams together and all that. So
here's one for you.
Yeah,
because you reminded me talking about breaking teams up. Mm-hmm. I think the 97 Marlins mentioned Edgar Renteria. That's kind of a super team.
Sold off a bunch of guys.
Jeff Conine, Luis Castilla, Renteria, Bobby Bonilla, Moises Alou, Gary Sheffield was on that team. Kevin Brown's pitching there. Al Leiter. That team was stacked.
Well, look, I mean, even the 2003 team, like the Marlins did this build up and tear down twice. The 2003, Pudge Rodriguez. Derek Lee was a really good player.
Pudge was so good.
Alex Gonzalez. Juan Pierre was an excellent leadoff guy for them. But, dare I mention somebody named Miguel Cabrera?
Yeah.
Remember him? Ever heard of him?
They drafted some of those young guys, though, right?
Yeah, he might have been a rookie or in his second year that year.
He was thin.
Hey, fat ass.
I know that. He didn't have to have a weight clause in his contract back then. I remember him.
You realize he started as an outfielder, by the way? He went from the outfield to
he
third
stole
to first.
50 bases a year.
He had the full transition of like, okay, you can move. You really can't move that well. Damn it, you can't move at all. Yeah. And then I feel like his last 6 years, he was just a DH in Detroit.
So just like, he could probably still rake today.
He probably could. Yeah. He won the batting title, in his fourth to last year? It was on the back end of his career.
Sounds about
when
right.
He won the Triple Crown. It was incredible.
All
Absolutely right. Incredible. Before we check out of here, got some story, wind on Friday early about the Chicago Bears. And this is something that's been talked about for about a year now. The fact that they might be moving from Chicago to Hammond, Indiana, which is about 30 minutes away. Big controversy. People are arguing about whether it's the Bears' fault or whether it's the team's fault. Mark Ramsey, big time Bears fan. What's the latest on what's going on in this situation? Is it the taxes? That's what people always complain about. Oh, we're not subsidizing these billionaires. Is that what it is?
Did they need a Spencer?
I think the big fight is how Chicago is not making it conducive for business in Chicago. So the Bears are saying that the city is putting certain taxes onto them, and the city wants them to pay certain things. But the Bears are saying, you're trying to make us pay for stuff, and if you could work with us to make it work for both sides, we can, build a new stadium or continue where we are. and that's the big fight in the city. Not to get too political, but how the money is working in Chicago versus what they want to do to the Bears as an organization.
Yes.
So that's the big fight.
It sounds like people are trying to make like it's a big political stance from the powers that be that are in the city at this moment in time. And it's really mucking things up. And it's awful for the Bears who did buy land in Arlington, are willing to build. Maybe there'd be some taxpayer money that's involved, but it sounds like it would be taxes on hotels, not necessarily on the citizens there.
This would be shocking.
Whatever it is, you need to figure it out. The Chicago Bears, with all due respect to Hammond, Indiana, should play in Chicago, all right?
They have a C on their helmet. They've been there for over 100 years. Yeah. They are an iconic franchise.
This 30.
Find a way to figure it out. Look, I know what happened with Kansas and Kansas City and going from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas, and the Missourians didn't want to pay taxes. I get it. It's also like a 12-minute drive from Kansas City, Kansas to Kansas City, Missouri. So it's not really that big of a trek.
I mean, I'm not shocked by anything. The Supersonics left before,
went
to OKC, but this would be
10.
Be strange to see.
They're coming back, damn it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening.
5.
Coming up next here on Fox Sports Radio.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life